So a friend of mine was extremely had a friend who was such a computer nerd that she made most computer nerds look like they knew nothing about computers. And she did everything with Linux. So, and also then proceeded to own like 7 other computers that all had different variants of different operating systems on them.
Is this like one of those things where like Python's trash unless you're a complete nutter expert and your friend was the complete nutter expert? Is that what it was?
Might have been. I've never. I don't know enough to know for sure. I just know that she knew more about computers. She'd forgotten more about computers than I have ever known about computers. I think she'd forgotten more about computers than my other friend, who is a computer nerd, knows about computers. So, just saying something. Well, she was scary with the computer.
I'm not even gonna have you guys do recap. I'm just gonna have us get right into it.
Okay.
Let's do this. Guards have come with Davluk into the room that Athela and Garrick are in right now. And that's the scene, guys. What are you doing with these guards?
Telling them that an altercation is going on and then that these people are assailing one of the patrons.
Well, the guards got their pipe up that saw people fighting in the hallway up there and called out. That's all I know. I don't actually know exactly what was going on. In the direction of the hallway.
After you say that, Athela, Miss Trant has all the guards looking over at her, waiting for her response. And she says that all of you tried assaulting her and her associates, um, which gets you all some not so well deserved looks from all the guards. Um,
Was in here the entire time. Ask any of the people who I've been talking to. I never left this room.
Please, if the three of you could come with us. Sorry, Miss Trant. Okay, and they're gonna escort you out of this room. Um, Past the senatorial floor and down to the servant area. You guys can throw yourselves over there if you want.
Okay.
Cool.
Turns out, if a bunch of people that aren't known try and accuse a prominent figure, it's not gonna go their way if all they have is she did it.
Yeah, though I was not actually in the room where there was fighting. I was in the main room. All I did was say I saw fighting.
Guilt by association. Yeah, I think they're just gonna listen to whatever she says because she's important and we're not.
You forget we're
I'm
in the
just slightly
midst of a totalitarianist society.
yeah,
Things
but
aren't
I'm
fair.
slightly was
Quick, one of you pull out that she's a woman and therefore you shouldn't listen to her card. Tactical misogyny.
Yeah. A fella should do it.
yeah. But more what I was getting at was I didn't actually do anything. Was I actually involved? So one questions why she would actually associate me with anything. Okay.
Remember that part where you spoke about the things she was doing? That's what got you. I was trying to give you some space to gracefully, back out of it, but since you're not going to take it, that's the shot. Nobody else made comments on this or got involved. You guys did. You want to throw yourself down there, Volkir?
Uh, and and okay, are any of the guards female or not?
Probably.
Probably what?
Did you ask more than one question?
Like, are any of them female or not?
Probably. Why?
Because I get a bonus to diplomacy against women, which sounds terrible out of context.
Does it sound better in context?
I don't think it sounds good in any context, but it's something I have.
I'm gonna take silence as a no.
I don't think there are any contexts where it sounds good, but it's a thing I can do.
Oh,
Okay, so
still waiting on you to move yourself down there. You guys get taken down there, and one of the guards that escorts you down there stays with you when the rest of them go back to circulate around the room, around the building itself. And he says that you're being temporarily detained until things can be sorted out. You're restricted to the servant area for now. Be informed by one of the guards as soon as the situation has been dealt with. At which point you'll be, says, hopefully free to move back around the Senate building. And we can move on to the next social round. You guys want to roll initiative?
Did I see them being marched down to the servants' quarters?
Give me a perception check.
Let's see if this goes any better than the last few.
Odds are probably not, just because there are like hundreds of people here. Chance.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right, so this is back to initiative then.
An event that Tychus is completely oblivious to at this point. Okay. We'll start with Athella. Obviously, there's three of you in the same spot, so if stuff needs to happen in a certain order, you guys could talk about it. Otherwise, we'll just default to the people with the highest initiative. As a note, there are no prominent NPCs here. There, Steven?
Yes. Sorry. Did. Kinda figured. Prominent NPCs in the servants' quarters. I choose to not go first.
Make them prominent.
I mean, if someone else wants to go first, sure, but the whole point of initiative is so that we don't have a bunch of people waiting around for people that aren't going to speak up.
Okay.
I only started doing initiative because you guys weren't taking the initiative to talk.
Thella's going to try to see if she can talk the guard into letting her leave this area.
That's not going to take you a whole social round. The short and simple answer is no. Basically just like tries to once again like politely tell you what he already has, but in like a slightly different way. It's not up to him. He's just here to make sure that you guys don't leave. And once the higher ups decide what to do with you, he'll let you know. That was 15 seconds of dead air there, Steven.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do or what I'm supposed to say at this point. I'm thinking.
I mean, unless you have a specific goal, you could influence the room.
Sure.
You are
I'm not
stuck
sure how I
here.
influence this room.
There's a bunch of different crafts. I don't know if you have those. A handful of professions. Intimidate, heal, or sense motive.
Okay. That sense motive. I actually have that one.
Okay.
Only one of those I have, so we'll try that one.
Okay. Nice. I'll give you 4 points for that. Notes around your players now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the proper name for this is just the servant area. Why doesn't everything else has something fancy? I would imagine even Taldor would have a fancy name for like their servant area.
The vomitorium.
Yeah,
Just find some pretentious Latin word for it.
exactly. Why didn't they do that? Okay. Give you 4 points of influence on the room. As you start talking with a lot of the help.
Okay.
can move on to Garrick at this point. I believe he's next in initiative for this room. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure how these usually go, but I know that Garrick's like very interested in like what sort of servants exits or passages or anything else might exist off of this area. Can I investigate that?
So the way that these social rounds go is you need to interact with either NPCs or just influence the room unless there's some kind of special goal you can achieve. And in the servants area, there isn't anything
Okay.
available to you guys.
So I guess I'll influence the room.
This room does have stuff that can be done outside of that, but it's specifically for people with the sabotage mission, which no one in this group has.
Okay.
All the missions are dependent on what your campaign trait was. So if you had one of the campaign traits, you guys, no, this isn't a spoiler because it's never going to happen. But basically, one of you could have been sent in here to steal a bottle of wine donated by the Lotheed family.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think
Okay.
it's stealing. I think you're you're supposed to find it, it says, and sabotage it. It doesn't actually specify what it's supposed to be. So I think you're actually...
Probably means like pour some of it out and pour like some shitty wine in it instead.
Yeah, something like that. Make it bad. To make the Lotheeds
Or-
look
or-
bad.
Or
Which is...
do that thing they do in like Little Monsters where you take some of the apple juice, dump it out, and replace it with piss.
That's evil. I'm curious as to why, like, I hadn't looked at this mission because I knew no one was going to get it. But I'm curious as to why this is a mission when one of the Lotheeds is a very prominent supporter of the princess.
Who
The
knows?
one we're working for is
You know what? She's just trying to make it look like she's not, like, guilty
That's
of some of the
actually a fair
sabotage.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just trying to make it look like someone else is behind all this because she got hit too.
So, presumably, like, they don't explicitly state this, but presumably, if someone in the party doesn't get it, like, she's having
There's, like,
someone
some
else
other
carry...
agent doing it.
Yeah. Having someone else do it. That makes sense to me. Did you want me to go over the list of stuff before you rolled, Skylar, or was...
Well, I think you had mentioned it, and I've got pretty good Intimidate, and you had mentioned Intimidate as one of them, so...
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to award you any points for that. The lowest we've seen up to this point for a skill check, I think, is 11, and if not 11, definitely 12.
Okay.
But it's still you trying to get a better understanding of the room itself, which in all of these cases so far has been trying to get an understanding of the people, trying to work your way in with them. You're just not making the same kind of ground that Athela is.
Scowling just as ineffective.
No, weird. You would think if you scowled at them enough, they would listen to you, but not in this case.
These guys have
Yeah.
probably seen some pretty impressive scowls in their day.
I don't think Athela's going to be particularly successful on the whole, though, because I think she has to roll real well in this room to do things.
Yeah, sense motive is one of the harder ones.
Yeah, it's literally the only one on the list she actually had. Well, I guess she could try intimidating.
But guess what? The professions and the crafts are the lowest ones. It's because this is the help.
Yep.
Yeah, the skills, she has no profession and no craft.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother saying what crafts and professions they are unless someone's like, hey, I have crafts or professions. So we can move on to Davlik at this point.
Okay, let me see what skills I've got.
You're doing that thing again where you're talking, but we can't actually hear you. I don't remember
Let me
how it
see what
happens.
Yeah, let me see what skills I've got.
We're looking for a handful of crafts or professions, as well as heal, intimidate, and sense motive. Those are your options. Double check your list and see if I see any crafts or professions. Craft. And no profession. So heal, intimidate, or sense motive. It's like intimidate's your best one at a +4.
Who would I be looking to intimidate to get a bit of information out of them?
It wouldn't be you specifically grabbing. I mean, you would be getting some information, but that's not the main intent of a room influence. It's literally the help in here. That's who's in here. With the exception of a few guards, everyone in here is just people making sure that this event continues to function properly. People who you are not good at working with.
It's a tough crowd.
A bit.
Probably sounding a bit silly with Ustalavic, vaguely Eastern German, Eastern European accent.
Tychus?
Well, since I'm still not aware that any sort of altercation has happened, I think I would probably just continue working the Senate floor here.
Okay.
So,
I should really keep this note just popped up for myself. Okay, the Senate floor has quite a bit of progress, so let's see if you bring it over the next
see
point.
if I can. Legal debate, super friends, go.
That
Ah,
sounds
yeah.
like a video game. Legal Debate Super Friends, coming out on Steam, early access. Hey,
Ace
25.
Attorney spinoff.
Or barrister. Not barista, barrister. I know the difference now. And this is a DC 11. So you definitely make that one by a lot.
Nice.
Giving you 14 points, so technically, even though it doesn't matter, that would bring you guys up to 26 influence on the Senate floor. It matters in that you got to 20, but those 6 extra points are mostly just there to be like, neener, we're good at this.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, you end up partaking in this debate, Tychus, with a particularly odious young politician that
Oh boy.
ends up entertaining a nearby judge who you would have heard the name of when you first got down here, when you started socializing initially. The judge's name is Dartus Mersinian. He's a half-elf, which is important. And like I said, his position is he's a judge by trade. And he ends up offering you this gold ring for the joy that you've brought to him on this night. He hasn't seen someone so thoroughly whipped in a debate in years, and he thinks that a lot of the points you're making have made a fool of your opponent. Do you have knowledge noble?
I believe so. Let me double check. Yes, I do.
Okay. You want to give it to me real quick?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's enough. He gives you this ring, and he says, after that he says, this ring is a sign of my family's favor, and you recognize it as the Mersinian family crest. I actually have an item I'll throw in the chat for you. A little piece of jewelry you can have. I guess.
Yo.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. How does that work again?
You go to the party sheet in the top right,
Yes,
and
party sheet. There.
you can drag the item using the peso symbol into the inventory sheet tab on your character sheet.
All right.
Also, I see, Volkir, that you have some cash. I would change the naming for your gold pieces to just GP capitalized, because when I send you money, that's how they're going to do it for all the different coins.
Oh, all right. Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
I will thank the honored judge for his attention, and I'm glad that I was able to entertain someone through dealing with that.
And he'll return the compliments. Let's move on to round 2, for which they are going to keep you guys in the servant area. Probably isn't a bad idea, because that'll give you guys a chance to give us some solid rolls. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I just meant to change the round. I can't remember. Did I have you guys... I had you guys redo initiative every round, so give me another one.
Yeah.
And I am being a little expedient today because there's a certain number of rounds I want to get through before Damien leaves, so we're as close as possible to the point where you guys would level up. So it might seem a teeny bit rushed, but
Okay.
it's in the best interest of everyone as far as I can tell.
Stella is just hoping that she manages to get out of here, because
Oh.
this is not a good situation.
Well, I mean, I think the guard's words should be at least an assurance that you will get out of here. He just doesn't know how it's going to go, and it sounds like he prefers that it goes with you guys just being allowed to go back to the party.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, I'd like... Athela is Athela though. So at this point she's like, she'd like to believe that the fact that she was on that tour with people and was actively just hanging out and talking to a whole lot of people in the library means that people know that she was just in the library and happened to see things, and that maybe somebody will confirm what she said, but she wasn't a part of anything. But let's see. Also knows that this system is not always work the way it should at all.
Yeah, this is actually our first, I feel like it's our first player interaction with the system itself, at least in a negative light. I mean, yes, you guys have had to deal with guards, but like every other time you guys have had to deal with guards, it's been because you're actually committing crimes. Hey, I don't know, maybe not crimes, but breaking the rules.
I thought I thought what you were asking, I thought, Jacob, what you were setting us up for was for her to say that and make a diplomacy check for the guards to believe that she wasn't in the room but saw people fighting. That's what I thought it was a setup for, so I thought I was supposed to talk.
I mean, I left multiple pauses to try and let you guys interject, but nothing you guys said made me think it deserved a roll. So it was a possibility, but if you guys don't make a compelling argument, a die roll doesn't change that. Can we get a roll from you, Volkir?
Okay, roll for what?
Initiative.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, good. Nice. Look at that. Getting right up there. Okay, looks like we're starting in the servant quarter again. Once again with Athela, because her dex is the best.
In my case, do I have to move now, or can I move on my turn? If I'm going somewhere else.
I think what we did before was like, hey, before anyone goes, move. Let's just do that for like consistency's sake. If you want to go somewhere, Tychus, you can. Let's do that before we get everyone going.
I think I'm probably going to head back up to the archive, since probably feel a little worn out on this floor by now.
Yeah, you've done enough debating for the day. need a break. Go to probably the quietest part of... Maybe the courtyard's quieter. I think this might be the quietest place, though.
Yeah.
Let's see what Athel is up to.
Well, I think there's literally one thing she can do, so she's gonna do the same thing she did last time.
Okay. Are we gonna be staying with the sense motive?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, oh. Her intimidate is a +3 because she doesn't have any ranks in it, and her sense motive is a +4. So unless intimidate is easier,
It's about
even
the
then-
same. With the modifiers you have and the difference in points, it's basically the same.
Oh.
There's a small enough difference that you wouldn't actually notice.
okay, and the in-lore reason why she doesn't have any ranks in intimidate is the fact that she is well, teeny.
I would argue that it's
And
better to understand someone than to scare them.
I just was saying she's not intimidating generally. So I didn't put ranks in intimidate. Point. But yeah, I'll roll sense motive.
I honestly don't like the way most people do intimidate. Most people do intimidate as I'm an asshole who threatens your life.
Well, she rolled complete and utter garbage, so she doesn't find anything.
You did not make 4 points that time. Fortunately, unlike a lot of the other social stuff they did before this, they're not going to be like, oh no, you rolled too low, now it's gonna kick you in the butt. Which, on one hand, is kind of cool, but on the other hand, I'm glad they got rid of. Like, it can stay in influence checks and other campaigns. I don't want it anymore. I'm done with it now that I've seen it. Let's
She talks it up. She talks to some people. She doesn't make any particular headway. Imagine though she's still pleasant to talk to. She's just not able to gain much.
Yeah, you're still chatting people up and trying to get a read of the room. You're just not making as much ground as you had before, you know. Move on to Davluk. We're sticking with the intimidate.
Righty, alrighty.
Yeah, I think the difference with your 2 skill checks, Steven, was like less than 10%. It's like marginal.
What the hell, man?
Oof. Okay, you're in the same boat, Davluk. You thought you were getting the ball rolling, but it doesn't seem to be getting anywhere at this point. Sometimes it does take a little while to get the feel for the room, though. Let's mess around with
These servants are not having any of our crap.
It turns out there's a pretty big disconnect between those in charge and those that make sure everything runs smoothly.
Mm-hmm. They're probably leery of you since you've got guards hanging around.
Yeah, there's extra security since you've shown up. As a note, this is the place in the building with the least amount of security.
Yeah.
And you probably do notice, like, the occasional person walking in and out that isn't, that, like, obviously isn't help, but they're not anyone, like, of note. You know, the exception that they're not a servant. Let's see what Garrick's up to. I believe in your +7 intimidate.
I mean, Damien's ahead of me in initiative. Are we switching to him or are we doing me first?
We do people in the same room.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
Tychus
actually, I
ends
think
up
we're
going
switching to
last
heal this time
because...
since intimidate wasn't working, so...
Okay, throw it out. Nice. Okay, with that, I will give you 7 points, which brings you to the first increment. This is, this would be more of a representation of, you actually, helping them. Basically the various, medical issues that would come up in a big event like this. Some of them being just straight up abuse from actual noblemen and their like.
Somebody kicked the servant for not bringing them food fast enough.
That does bring us up to 11, which will give just shows that all of you are gaining some reputation for the way you've treated the servants so well. And I'll give you a little bit of insight into their gossip because of a combination of all your efforts. You're going to learn the weakness of an NPC of one person in the gala. So if there's anyone you would like to know a weakness of that you don't already, I can provide it to you.
Sure. What's the weakness of the princess?
No, I will leave it up to Skylar, but obviously he's going to need some direction from you guys, so I will leave it up to him once I provide who hasn't had, like, all the people that still have weaknesses that could be provided. At this point, the princess is one of the people with an option. I believe you guys don't know Lady Gloriana Marillas. If I'm wrong about that, correct me.
I don't think we've actually had any attempts to influence her yet. So
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't
she's
think
in the
we
garden.
haven't made any attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the two people in the garden, one being like the most prominent aide of the princess, and the other one being the princess herself. With Silka the Fantabulous, the best performer up in the I almost said the Gorally, the gallery. It's because I looked at her raccoon face and I was getting all animalistic. So if you want her weakness, that's an option. Then I think there's only one other person. I think it's Calbio from Breezy Creek. I don't think you guys have his weakness.
I remember Volkir made friends with him, but I don't know if I don't remember if that was a thing or not.
I don't
Oh,
think he got
actually-
his weakness. I think he just made friends with him because he rolled
Yeah.
really well and told a good story.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, that sounds right.
Actually, it looks like Calbio doesn't have a weakness, so that might be part of the reason he didn't get it. He actually doesn't have one on his sheet. So yeah, I think it's just those three. Yeah, it's just those three.
Okay. Let's get the weakness for the Fantabulous.
Okay. Up in the gallery, something you all of you learn about Wasilka the Fantabulous. You automatically get it. Normally, you'd need to make a roll for it. And you're specifically getting the weakness. You're not normally. You do what's like a discovery roll where you would either get the weakness or learn the DCs of the influence, but you're specifically getting the weakness without a roll. Wasilka has displays of some magical aptitude that you can spot in her routines. And she specifically uses divine magic rather than the sleight of hand that most people spot it as. And feel free to use your imagination when it comes to how could you use this against her.
Okay.
As a general note, can't cast magic in here, though people can get papers for that. You don't know if Wasilka has papers for it because it is performers that are the primary people with these papers. So she may or may not be a, approved spellcaster, especially since she's not obviously using the magic. And I will note it because Skylar is here. Every one of these places has thresholds you need to get to. There's normally multiple. There are of varying degrees, but so far, all of them have been in increments of 10 and 20. So you can, there is a second threshold that you guys can break in this floor.
All right.
We will move on to Tychus at this point. You're up in the Imperial Archives, yes?
Yep. All right. So if I remember, the only prominent NPC here is Duke Centimus, and I have already taken that relationship as far as it can go in this.
Yes.
I don't think I don't think you actually influenced him. I think you
Did I-
just
Did I
talked
not?
to him and found out his
Okay.
position.
All right. In that case, I think I would like to continue talking with him to see if I can get him talking about his engineering and his shares and prosthetic programs. Because I think Tychus is like actually genuinely interested in that as a subject, even if he doesn't know very much right now.
I will let you know you have influenced him. That's how you got that information.
Okay, so I thought I had already influenced him. So is there any use in doing that further?
No, mechanically there is no use to doing further influence.
Okay, so I'll do what I was originally planning then and try to cop off the Imperial Archives room influence.
Okay.
What are the skills available for that?
Okay. Knowledge, Arcana, Geography, and History, Linguistics, Profession, Librarian, and Scribe, and Stealth.
All right, knowledge history then.
Okay, throw it out there. Nice.
I'm sorry for taking all your luck, guys.
Yeah.
Are you a luck sucker? Okay.
I am slightly saddened because Athela had spent a long time trying to get there, and these have so far seemed to be things that benefit only the person who achieves them. So I'm slightly bummed, but yeah, congrats.
For the thresholds?
Yeah, the second thresholds, like Ventus got a second threshold in there and like got in arcades and got stuff.
Well, that was for everyone though.
He actually got loot type things, I believe, and Tychus got something from breaking a threshold in the other one in the Senate floor.
Yeah, pretty much all of them have the person who breaks through them gets a specific bonus, but then there's a bonus for everyone.
Yeah.
As a note, you've brought it from 18 to 29, but you have not broken the second threshold.
Oh.
Oh dang.
Okay.
If you had rolled a natural 20,
threshold.
you would have broken it.
Oh, maybe you get your shot to swing by and finish this out after all.
Maybe I will. Who knows? But damn, that was a good roll. I'm just gonna say that regardless of anything else. You've had some insane rolls, man.
That was a huge swing in the room when it comes to everyone's feelings of all of you. I will say that the bonus for the Imperial Archives is like the weirdest. Weirdest bonus.
Okay.
All right then. Very nice. Yep. I suppose I spend time going around talking with the various archivists and scribes and librarians and just sort of indulging my historical curiosity a bit, checking out volumes I've never had access to before and talking to people about them.
Nice. Love it. Let's move on to the third round. And we'll have everyone roll initiative. Another time.
That's how I'm going to justify dropping points in more knowledge skills when I level up.
I love it.
Alright, so I'm guessing we're still stuck here.
You guys are not. One of the guard that was talking to you guys earlier comes over and informs you that after much deliberation on behalf of the Taladin Security Force, the TSF, that you have
Yeah,
been that you have been allowed to once again go and enjoy the rest of this evening show. You guys can leave if you want.
Stella would, I think, actually make her way back to the archives.
Hey,
Because
I got
she was actually really interested in the. She got that tour and stuff, so she actually wants to finish doing the stuff there.
Okay.
hey, you can actually maybe clue me in that something's happened.
Oh yeah, she's gonna have a chat. She's gonna bump into Tychus.
So you tell me what has occurred, and I'll give you my little bit on what I've been doing, so that you can take advantage of the bonus to the Senate floor and use bluff anywhere.
Right. Yeah, she will, and she'll let you know that. Running with that lady that us to shoot. We had a run-in with the lady that up names. I'm horrible at names myself. I
Her
love
last
that I'm
name's
horrible at
Krant,
names.
if that's what you're looking for.
No. Okay. But, we had a run-in with the lady that Martella told us to try to stop, or at least Garrick. Garrick did. I made the mistake of speaking up from the crowd, saying that I saw things happening, and unfortunately got lumped into it. But seems that things have been handled, and in this particular instance, the justice system actually functioned. There's a little bit of a scowl as she says that.
The sympathetic nod.
But to find out a few interesting things while we were in the servants' quarters. The Silka the Fantabulous, you know, the raccoon-inspired performer that we saw up in the gallery. She uses some sort of magic. It's really interesting. Whether she's approved or not, I don't know, and it's not even arcane magic. That I really understand the difference, but I thought most of those sort of tricks were that kind.
Hmm. I
Sort
know
of
what-
shrugs.
Yeah.
But now that I'm back here, and I went on a tour earlier, it was actually fascinating, so I'm hoping to a little bit more from the library. The history of our nation is quite fascinating.
Isn't it just? I've had some success out on the Senate floor. It seems things are very lively out there, and I've made a good impression on a number of people. So I'll go off with like some names and faces that I found, basically conveying the information that you can use the bonus from the Senate floor. I'm not entirely sure how that works in universe, but
They don't give you an
basically-
example for it, so I'm just going to throw it on your shoulder.
yeah. So basically, I say I made a good impression on a number of people, and I give her some names and faces that like things that might let her more easily socialize with those people. And
All right.
yeah,
Thank you, Tychus.
you're welcome.
The others, I'm not sure where they went, but they might actually still be in the servants' quarters. If you want to relay it to them as well, if you see them, I mean, I'll certainly tell them if I run into them. I'm sure that some of them could use the information.
Uh,
I
those
haven't seen
sounds-
Ventus in a while.
yes, neither have I.
Hopefully all is well with him as well. I know he had great plans tonight.
I think many people have great plans tonight. I suppose it's probably too late to stop whatever was going on with that woman you mentioned.
Well, my hope is that I'm not super optimistic on it, but my hope is that by calling the guards and causing that bit of a disturbance,
Yes,
she
might
wasn't
have-
able to fully extract what she was trying to accomplish. But again, optimism is only seldom warranted in these sort of affairs. I the best experiences myself, but I try to look on the bright side.
So we can. That is not a bad policy, but I will bid you farewell for now, because I don't think we both need to be in the archive with how close it is. So I'm actually going to go down to the garden and spend some time
Why?
down there.
In the future, before you guys
This is
start your
fascinating.
dialogue, as we have always done in the past, you should wait for everyone to declare whether or not they're moving.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We did have a really good little bit of in character RP there though.
What if, like, two other guys were gonna go over there, right? What if they want to be a part of that?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I think that was all the stuff that Ventus had that was related to the game specifically.
Yeah, that looks right.
So anyone who has the thief mission, the theft mission, that the two of you can talk about can end up with those items because one of you. It'd
Fan
be
is just cool generally because fans are awesome.
that would be Davluk and Garrick. Two of you need to have a conversation.
Okay. Well, can't, no,
Well, really,
can't say
it's
I'm quite
Volkir and
familiar with
Skylar.
you. I can't say I'm quite familiar with you, Garrick. So if you would please
Can't hear you, Volkir.
Sir Garrick, I can't say that I'm quite familiar with you. So if you'd be so kind as to please enlighten me, I would be delighted to make your acquaintance.
Well, no, you guys don't need to do introductions because you guys have talked before. You guys, out of character, need to decide who's getting those items.
Sorry. I'm almost at my carrying capacity. I'm almost at my light load limit. Garrick, how's your carrying capacity looking?
There's no weight on any of these items.
Okay, I'm fine with carrying. I'm fine with carrying the solvent and the unguent.
Tyler?
I mean, yeah, I've got the journal and the spyglass.
Okay, cool. Sounds like Skylar's getting the fan and Volkir's getting the other stuff. Just drag them onto your sheets. Okay, I'm not going to wait for you to do that, Volkir, but you should definitely do it before I ask again. Is Garrick and Davlik going somewhere else, or are they staying here?
No, Garrick's staying put.
Volkir, words, please, quickly.
Let's see. Which room had like could be influenced with knowledge and ability again?
You want me to go look at all the rooms and figure that out? Arcade of Triumphs, which you already did. I think Senate floor, which you already did. Those two. Maybe the gallery. Nope, just the two you already fully influenced.
Linguistics, then.
I'm not going through all the list. Tell me where you want to go. I'm not going to go through one skill at a time.
I know you were previously talking to the princess.
Archives, then.
Okay. If Davlik succeeds, I'll just let you go somewhere else, Steven.
What are the skills used for the archives?
Well, when it's your turn, we'll get to that. Let's start with Tychus, who is in the gardens, correct?
Yep.
In the
So,
courtyard. What are you gonna do here?
what are these skills available here? I know most of them are things I know I don't have, but
For the influence
anywhere.
of the room?
yep. Yeah, for influencing the room. I
Handle animal,
sort of,
knowledge, engineer, local, and nature. A bunch of perform.
all right.
Or
Shall
bluff.
I-
Remember, you can bluff
yeah,
anywhere.
I can bluff anywhere. I'm deciding if I want to do that or knowledge local, because it's only a 1-point difference.
You would have been able to give the bluff information to Davluk as well, so he can bluff anywhere now.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking if that would propagate. I think I'm actually just going to do knowledge local, mingle with the people in the garden, start trying to get a feel for the room, and just sort of preliminary social action here, since I don't think we've influenced this place at all. So,
Okay. Yeah. Right out there. Nice. I will give you 8 points. 8 points to Tychus.
that means the knowledge local check's not bad.
And we get to add a new room to the influence. Add the courtyard. I don't bother throwing them on here until you guys make progress. Okay.
All right.
Very, very close to the first threshold.
Not quite, though. We've still got a bit more time.
Move on to Davluk.
I will. I will try to influence the archives. Which skills would I be able to use for that?
This one actually is pretty slim. Knowledge Arcana, Geography, History, Linguistics, Profession Librarian, or Scribe, or Stealth.
I will go with linguistics then. Just try to impress the people there with my extensive study on the various languages of the plains and local area.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Okay. I'll give you 8 points for that. Filling up the Imperial Archives. You guys up to 37, your highest at this point. And with that, with all of you expressing a vested interest in Paladin history, you managed to catch the attention of the librarian there. His name is Pabris Telecom. Telecom, yes, Telecom. It might be Telecom. Maybe that's what they want from it. Because it's C-O-U-M. But
Yeah, try Telecom.
Telecom. And he will offer Davluk this dog-eared, crumbling journal that was donated to the library. And he tells you not to worry about it. It's been considered unsalvageable. But he lets you know that there is a pretty compelling tale of a young wizard's growth into womanhood that involves her inheriting her family's business in Casimir 250 years ago.
Look, most profusely thanks the librarian for the gift and promises that he will do his best to ensure that it is taken care of in its old age.
If you look through the book, like you're gonna see that it's missing a huge portion of it. And then like it's a combination of missing pages and water damage. Pretty advanced water damage. The fact that some of these pages are held together is a bit of a surprise to you. But in the back, there are multiple scrolls that have been flattened for an extended period of time. But when you let them out, you see quite a few of them try and curl back up.
Interesting. Yeah, Ollie.
And you still didn't grab those items I brought up earlier, so I don't even know why I should put more items in.
We also can't hear you.
Well, Kier, you're wasting all of our time right now. Please say something.
Yeah, I think that should be my turn then.
I can't hear you.
That should probably be my turn then.
I need you to grab those items. I've asked you to grab them multiple times now, and you have not grabbed them. And I'm trying to give you new stuff, but you haven't grabbed the old stuff. Are you going to grab these items? Please talk to me. I'm trying to communicate with you.
Yeah, just drag them from the chat log, right?
Oh, from the
From the
party
party
sheet. I'm gonna move on. I really hope this isn't the issue the next time I come around to you. That's what I asked last time, and it was an issue.
So,
Othello, where would you like to go?
yeah, I think, given the situation, Athela is going to go to the gardens.
Okay.
And I think that she is going to try to influence the room using. Should she try? So, yeah, she'll try to influence the room using bluff. She can now. Using the knowledge she gained from Tychus's sort of talking about contacts and the like, and insinuating her and sort of getting herself set up in some conversations to try to some progress talking up some of the people there. And here we go with a bluff check.
The reason I said they don't provide any context for what that threshold is to represent is because even though they actually do say something, it doesn't mean much by itself. It just says, by proving themselves, the PCs can select one skill from the influence skill list for this area to use influence in another area in the Senate where it could not normally be used.
Huh.
But you guys just proved yourselves, is what it's saying.
Oh, cool. Well, I rolled a 2, so I don't think I succeeded.
No.
But she definitely proved herself before.
No. The bluff is a DC 14.
Yeah. Athela has rolled a 1 and a 2 in the last 2 rounds for both of her attempts to influence. So Athela's not doing so hot on that right now, but that's okay. It's kind of funny though.
Yeah.
It'll only be funnier if my next roll's a 3.
Yeah, it just slowly gets better. Hey, if
Counting up.
that's
Get that
the
consistency
case,
going.
that's not actually bad, assuming you can survive the lower numbers, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's true. But regardless of who ended up completing the archives, I'm definitely going to have Athela take like lore, Taldan history, or something as
Nice.
next level because it fits her character and fits her having gotten super interested when she went and got the tour. So, I think that's.
Garrick, up with you.
He's going to try to help the servants with some more of their medical issues.
Nice.
I'm trying to just drag the items from the party sheet, but they won't stick.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you this again, but I want you to listen because I've told it to you like 4 or 5 times since you started playing with me. You need to drag the piezo symbol onto your character sheet, but you have to do it slowly. You can see a visible indicator of whether or not it's working. If you try and drag it over quickly, it's not gonna work.
There you go.
Okay, we have another event.
Boy.
Remember, at this point, you guys have been here for hours. I haven't actually kept exact track of the time, but we're properly in the later portion of your evening here. At least from your guys' understanding that you've gathered of events. There's a silence that you all realize falling over the entirety of the gala, and you see the crowd begins to part, starting in the Arcade of Triumphs, as servants unroll a red carpet through, and then into the Senate floor itself. Walking behind them in a regal fashion, slowly, on his way to the Senate floor, is the Grand Prince Stavian III, and a host of his very intimidating Ulfin guard. You see guests very quickly flocking to catch glimpses of the leader of Taldor. Begins to briskly move towards the Emperor's Hall, flock towards him.
Ella curses her height because it makes it hard for her to see over other people. And tries to also get a good look at the Grand Prince because, you know, it's not a common occurrence.
Couple noteworthy things happen when the Grand Prince makes his way through the Senate floor. Maxillar Pytharius retreats with the Grand Prince into one of the private portions of the Senate floor, while Princess Entropia recuses herself to partake in several private meetings. Also, in a completely different portion of the building, sealed away from everyone. She has to prepare for an expected speech from her father. As a result, both of these NPCs will not be able to be in.
That is fair.
Mhm.
And we'll start some new social rounds with their arrival. With a bunch of people's arrivals and a few key people's disappearances. I don't know that disappearance is the right word, but you know what I mean.
A few key people stepping out.
Get some new initiative checks.
Alrighty. I don't know why, but initiative is the one thing that I always have to look for multiple times before I remember where it is on the sheet. It's like everything else I can find pretty easily, but that one I like forget where it is.
I'm bad about that too, so initiative is one of the things when I'm a player that I keep on my hotbar.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
For some reason, I always think it should be that it would be like with the spell resistance, fortitude, reflex, and will saves. It's up in, you know, it's up with the melee and ranged attack bonuses and CMD.
You're
So
not
it's just like-
that far off. You're close.
I know, but I always look in the wrong place and it frustrates me. I don't know why.
Let us start the lady herself. I want to make a note real quick. I forgot to do this earlier. I know I started it. Malphine Trant is not a lady. That's a proper title in the setting we're talking about. She is technically a dame, so that's the proper way to address her.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Athela is.
Well, I guess I know we're supposed to start off with Athela. Is anyone moving? If you're not moving, please let me know you're staying.
I'm staying where I am.
I'm staying where I am.
I plan to stay where I am.
I'll just move to the courtyard with the largest number of the group.
Okay. Let's start off with Athela.
I am going to say that Athel is at some point in this, if she gets it, you're going to bump into, bump into Tychus and comment to Tychus that, well, I meant to stay in the archives, but, our resident, foreigner, who seems quite studious, seems to have, attracted most of the attention there, so, well, let's find somewhere
does-
else.
He does seem like a very charismatic fellow.
Just offers a wave when he's mentioned. Wave and a smile.
Tychus waves back.
Oh, it seems he's followed me here as well. No, if I didn't know better, I would say you were stalking me. She laughs as she says that.
Pish posh, as they say up north.
Alright. I'm going to have her, she's gonna roll to influence the room again. Bluff check.
Okay. Throw it out there.
Okay, that was actually a really good roll.
Okay. That's enough to get you the first threshold.
So, just as a note, we now know that Athela's luck is not strictly 1, 2, 3.
That's probably for the
Alas.
best.
Alas, no consistency. But at the same time, thank God for no consistency.
Yeah, it would have been rough for several more rounds if so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of your night would have been very rough.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have enjoyed it. Okay. At this point, you have all managed to integrate yourselves into the political scene. You start to realize which tongues are waggling around you. Each of you can immediately learn a appropriate influence skill of your choice for an NPC. I think you guys, and they're talking about DCs here. I've slightly modified this to make it a little bit more compelling. The default for this game is that you guys don't start off knowing what influence skills you can roll. You have to end rounds learning those, and you only learn one at a time.
That's rough.
Yeah. Which makes this all a lot harder, and personally to me makes it look like you guys are a lot less competent than you should be. Because it's... Maybe I'm wrong. It seems like they're going for a different feeling than I would want, so I've adjusted it accordingly. I'm not just straight up making it easier for you guys, but I'm making things more apparent because I think it's less frustrating this way.
Yeah, so you don't have to just fumble around for 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah, no, it is much appreciated.
Yeah.
I like how you've been running it, Jacob.
I will be modifying this so that you can learn the DC of an influence check for a character. I really think at this point there's only a few characters to properly get influenced, and one of them just walked off. So I think the only people you need to know influence checks for are Lady Gloriana Marilla and Basilka the Fantabulous.
Yeah, I guess if one of us wanted to influence someone who we had... Wait, okay, so does it matter if you individually have influenced them, or does it matter if someone in the group has? I was a
The
little
group
hazy
is the
on that.
important part.
Okay, so personally influencing someone that has already been influenced by someone else is irrelevant.
Yes.
Okay. Sure. What are the options for I believe you said it was supposed to be Dame Gloriana Murillo.
No, she's a lady. It's
Oh.
Yeah, the lady who was roughing people up is a dame.
yeah, Melphine Trant is a dame.
Oh.
She doesn't personally
sorry.
have claims to lands. Her parents do.
Okay. Well then, yeah. What is lady? What are the options for her? Because I don't actually know what the options are to ask about a DC of one of them.
Knowledge local, sense motive, diplomacy, bluff, intimidate, knowledge, nobility.
Sure. Can I get the DC of the diplomacy check with her?
Okay, the diplomacy check is 14.
Great.
What would Garrick like?
What about the intimidate check for Wasilla or the Fantabulous?
Oh, did I tell you that there was an intimidate?
No, I have no idea. I'm just
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we've anyways
Oh.
tried to interact with her
We-
yet.
Yeah, I don't
She
think we know what hers are.
for influence check, she has knowledge local, sense motive, bluff, diplomacy, disguise, and any perform.
Then what about knowledge local?
That'd be a 16.
What?
Have a look.
Okay. I will go with the lady Gloria.
Gloriana Marilla.
Yeah, Marilla.
What do you want?
Okay. You said we can learn one influence, one
Yes.
influence, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Her options were knowledge local, sense motive, diplomacy, bluff, intimidate, knowledge nobility.
We know diplomacy is 14.
Yep. I'll go with knowledge and ability then.
Okay. Knowledge nobility is the same DC.
We're both 14s then.
Be an auto pass for me, at least.
Oh yeah, you're really, really good at knowledge nobility.
Given. Yeah, I will ask for what the sense motive on Lady Morella is.
Sense motive is 15.
Okay. Yeah. I'm tempted by the rumor you gave me about Ahsoka, but I don't think Tychus would be super comfortable interacting with a person in the middle of a bunch of children, so.
Remember that Lady Gloriana Marilla is one of the people you would get a +2 bonus on from interacting.
Oh, yeah, from Countess Pace, yeah. So, yeah, I will definitely stick around here then.
Nice.
I was actually talking about what happened with Calbio. I was specifically addressing Davluk, since he's the only one who's actually interacted with them. But you are correct that because of your interactions with the Countess, that you would also get a bonus with the lady.
Remind everyone then.
Or is it just Tychus? Because Tychus was the one who.
No,
actually
it's
talked to Count
it's everyone. It's just because of them
Ah.
that you guys
okay.
get the bonus. That might not be the case for Calbio, but I'm pretty sure it is, because I know it is for the Lady Pace. Yeah, it's for everyone. Okay, that's what I thought, but I want to check since you
Oh.
ask.
Yeah,
Oh, so
no-
we'd all get +4 on our attempts with them, because it'd be +2 from multiple sources.
Yeah,
Oh, they stack?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they're unspecified bonuses.
Nice.
You would have got them with the princess, but nobody jumped on that quick enough, which I'm honestly surprised.
Yeah, I didn't feel like Tychus would feel confident enough at approaching.
That's fair.
Athela wanted to talk to the princess. Athela very much admires the princess, but Athela also does not feel comfortable going and talking to the princess. So Othello was trying to influence the room to build her confidence up so that she could then go talk to the princess. Internal monologues.
Yep. Oh well. Win some, lose some.
Yep.
Alright, so whose turn is it now?
I
That
believe
was
it's
Othello's
yours.
turn.
No, Tychus didn't do his, right? Didn't.
Oh no, yeah, I did not do my
Yeah.
thing in this room yet,
Yeah.
so
This was all
sorry
just
about that.
Othello's turn, so it's whoever's next after her.
Oh yeah, Davluk, sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
What's up, Volkir?
Okay, hello. So, yep. Okay, so, lady. All right. I can roll diplomacy. I can roll diplomacy or bluff here, right?
You cannot roll diplomacy to influence this room, but you can roll bluff.
Okay. Yeah, I got a decent
Or-
bluff.
Nice. I'll give you 12 points. A place that... Okay, that just barely brings you to the second threshold.
Nice.
good stuff.
Just working the circuit and also keeping in mind his family's personal request for him, which is to find a suitor so he can get out of their hair.
Okay. With this third threshold, you have made yourselves recognizable enough and entertaining to the elites of Taldor that you all get a +2 circumstance bonus on bluff, diplomacy, or intimidate checks specifically to influence NPCs.
Oh.
Okay.
Does this just last
+2.
for the I'm guessing this just lasts for tonight, not
Yeah, it's just for
indefinitely.
tonight. It's not for
Yeah.
everyone.
Okay.
I figure most of these bonuses are.
Yeah, all these bonuses are for the party. Would have been
Not
a
that
great
many
place to
NPCs
start
left.
at.
Yeah.
Let's move over to Garrick.
He's sticking around in the servants' quarters, and healing didn't work so well last time, so going back to intimidate.
Okay.
Is it specifically like a specific NPC that bonus applies to, or would like a +2 apply here to try to influence the room with it?
It's just for influence in the room. So you don't get the bonus they just got from the courtyard. You don't get any of the bonuses that they're talking about.
Okay.
All of those apply to 2 of them are for specific people, and then one of them is just to everyone that you're specifically influencing, not to rooms.
Okay. Okay.
$13 is enough for you to get 1 point.
Okay.
Huzzah!
Progress.
Oh, freaking servant scores. What's stimmy?
Remember when the courtyard was like unironically the hardest place to interact with? Now it's the servant area.
And then we rolled some really good bluff checks in the courtyard after we unlocked it. And...
We're now moving on to the next event of the night.
I did not get a turn in there.
Oh shit, I skipped over you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
I skipped over
I think
Davlik and then I
since,
skipped over Tychus.
So, since it seems like things are going quite well in the room itself, Tygus is going to try to find a good moment to get into a conversation with Lady Marilla and just sort of try to like make the opening moves of a conversation and get her opinions on some what's going on and how this is progressing. Sort of start to ingratiate myself and get a feel for her.
Okay.
The sense motive was the 15 you said, and there's a total +4 modifier to this.
isn't it a +6 because you
No. The plus
it's
2 you guys just got is for specific skills. Sense motive is not one
yeah,
of
I'm
them.
using sense motive because I'm much better at that.
ah
He currently has +4 as a modifier from 2 different sources.
nice.
From Pace and Calbio.
What the heck?
I haven't seen the roll yet, so I don't
Yeah,
believe
no,
you've
I
made
clicked
it.
I clicked the piezo symbol and it brought up like a weird window.
Okay. It's enough for you to
That's the key
influence her.
bonus.
That is a successful influence, but it is not enough for you to gain the benefit. You need
Okay.
more than one.
Fair enough. Start.
Some of these people need more than one.
Yeah.
And some of the people you've talked to have needed more than one. You guys have just made such good rolls that I didn't bother bringing it up.
Yeah, like the Baron, I think it was Baron O'Kara, or yeah, Baron O'Kara. We just Davluk rolled extraordinarily high, and Othello just
Blew
rolled
right past that
just
man's
rolled high enough.
thresholds.
Yeah, so we ended up increasing him like all the way in one round.
Crazy. Okay, we will now move on to the next event. I don't know if anyone's keeping track of them, but just for a reference point, because I think it's kind of cool. You guys are at event 7 right now, which though mechanically there's no difference. Garrick would be the first one to know about this, because it starts in the servant area. You guys are going to be enjoying a light supper. So following the arrival of the Grand Prince, the servants begin to bring out a light supper for all of you, placing various expensive cheeses, fruits, pastries, and wines out on tables, or carrying platters to offer a little bit of a momentary repast from what's going on right now. The food is there to placate the masses that are left confused by Stavian's abrupt arrival and sudden disappearance. Soon after, conversations begin to return to normal. And you guys begin to notice that socializing is becoming easier as interested parties start joking about various things and arguing over positions they should have in the food lines to speak with various important dignitaries. For this one round, you guys will have a +2 circumstance bonus to influence any character.
Oh,
That you can justify getting food to increase your, to engineer your social position with them, which I think in the case of Lady Mortella, you could. A special note here, there is a century-old bottle of wine donated by the Lothide family that is being opened and served at this point.
oh.
If someone had the sabotage mission and they hadn't completed their task by now, it would not be able to happen.
Yeah,
Right.
this would be the fail point for that.
And
Othello would have told the others that food at these is particularly delightful. Remember it from when I would come here for these galas as a child.
Much more seafood than I'm used to personally, but a nice change of pace from potatoes and boar.
It is all quite fine. I'm not quite used to this degree of choice.
This is why I chose not to eat at the cafe. Wanted to make sure I enjoyed it fully now. Brings back some fond memories.
At this point, wasn't the cafe like 4 or 5 hours ago?
Yeah.
Don't starve yourself, girl. They say you gotta wear those corsets, but that doesn't mean you have to. What is expensive wine when you've recently had coffee?
Right?
Really just
Like going
placeholder.
from ambrosia to water.
This is really like a rich person conversation right here. So I will, in this case, you're going to start noticing that a lot of these rounds are going to be going by faster. But I will ask for new initiative.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Was the Grand Prince's arrival like already pre-expected, or was that like a sudden surprise for people here? Like, was he supposed to come here tonight?
Yeah, of course.
Just wanted to make sure.
The Grand Prince is always here every time that a new member of the community is brought into the noble class. He's the one who has to do it.
Makes sense. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I have the context right for that.
Yeah, it's the fact that he showed up and very quickly made his way to the opposite end of the building to talk with the Strategos, the High Strategos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so it was more that he just hurried through without really talking to anybody. That has people a little chatty.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone? I want to know where everyone's gonna be.
Stella plans to stay here in the garden areas. Courtyard.
I was gonna continue trying to influence the lady here, so same here.
Okay.
Garrick is staying put in the servants' quarters. Or the servants' area.
And
I
Davlik?
will try the. I think I'll stay here since I've got a circumstance bonus here anyway.
Okay. Because there is the potential that you guys end up, with the amount of people here, there is the potential that you guys end up maxing out the ladies' influence, because there's a limited number. I mean, it's more than one, but with 3 of you being here, it's possible. I will let the rest of you move on to another room, which at this point, I
Pretty much
think
just the gallery and the servants' quarters, isn't it?
yes, those are the 2 that you haven't.
And we have not actually influenced the gallery as a room at all.
No. The only thing you guys have done in the gallery is to do with Countess Pace. At least if we're just talking about the standard actions, you guys did have that scene in there pretty early on.
Yeah. I just
So
went up
we
there
have
early,
the-
dealt with my. Yeah.
But we'll start with Faithella.
Her initiative is amazing.
It's nice. It's nice having nice initiative.
Yes. I may very well have her take improved initiative at some point too.
So to me, it sounds like the 3 of you were chatting. We're chatting with Lady Gloriana Marilla, and then you went with her to go get some food that was being handed out by like a servant. That's how you're getting this bonus against her, or for her.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
All right, so I guess I will have her roll her diplomacy check.
Don't forget your modifier. You got +6 now, I think.
I think so.
Yes, a +6. Which check were you going with actually?
Diplomacy?
I believe you have a +8 actually.
Jeez.
I believe the courtyard covered that. I can double check, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the courtyard bonus.
And you're actually using one of the skills for it, unlike me. So.
Yeah.
+8 bonus to your diplomacy.
Okay.
All of the bonuses.
Stella is honestly, I think she's also just having a good time feeling welcome in a noble event. So
And the nobles are having a good time with you guys. This is great. We're
there you
actually
go.
at. It was looking a little dark at the beginning, but we're actually at that
Yeah.
point that that Lothid had brought up. Like, you guys properly beginning using this night to begin your own social spheres of influence.
All right, so I will. I'll click the roll button now. Let's see. What do we get? That's a good roll.
That is definitely enough to get her completely influenced. So you actually get 2 boons for this. The first and most important is that she offers to introduce you to the princess once she becomes available.
All right.
And when that happens, you will get a free social round with the princess and a bonus. And
Nice.
the second one is not going to be immediately apparent. And it's not one that's brought up, but I would make a note of it on your end, Steven.
Okay. Yeah, I have down that I have it. I have her down as influenced on my notes in my sheet.
Good.
And
Imagine it as she would word it in a very graceful way, but something similar along the lines to what happens with Dardus Mercinian earlier, where she has extended her favor towards you.
okay, and Othello would be very grateful and comment that it would be an honor to have an introduction to meet the princess. Thank you very much. She's actually quite excited about that.
And I haven't brought it up so far because the XP for this campaign is actually very tight. But you guys would be getting XP for every person you successfully influence, and you guys have almost all of it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Nice.
I guess Othella's stories about how she came to these in her youth and just talks about that actually resonated with reflected by her good diplomacy roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Move on to Davluk. Which room would you like to go to, Davluk?
Probably the gallery, since it seems like all the work in the courtyard is already done.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. There's nothing for you guys to do here. The gallery and the servant area could both use some general influence, and then the gallery has Wasilka the Fantabulous that could also be socialized with.
Okay, so what are the skills for the gallery?
Well, if where'd you move your token?
Move to the arcade.
Any?
Well, the gallery we usually I think just put it up in the corner of the Senate arcade since it's
There you go.
not on the map.
Ah,
I just moved you north of the Emperor's Hall.
Yeah, that's where we'd normally been doing it.
You can give me, if you're trying to influence the room, you can give me acrobatics, disguise, a handful of performs, or sleight of hand.
Bluff. Don't forget bluff.
I'm not going to say bluff because otherwise I'd have to say it every time. Bluff is in any room.
No, I was more reminding him, not you.
Yep, it seems like bluff is the only thing I can pull off.
Well, you can make untrained acrobatics checks. That is
And bluff.
Bluff has a much better bonus for me than acrobatics.
Okay.
that is fair. I was just saying, at least you can make ones untrained there.
Also, another thing I'm doing to make this easier, because I think it's more fun this way, is I'm not supposed to tell you how many points you're making every time. I'm just supposed to have you guys roll. But I think it's better if you guys have an understanding of like how much progress you're making.
Yeah.
Jacob, you've been running it great, man. A lot of
Mhm.
fun.
Okay, that is enough for me to give you no points. The DC for bluff, remember, is 14. And you get points based on these by how many points you exceed the DC.
Oh, there's no minimum of 1 for meeting it.
No.
Ouch.
It's weird that it's that way, but I get why it's that way, because you get points not in large increments, but for each point, so it's just cleaner that way. Otherwise, there'd be no difference between rolling one higher than the DC and rolling the DC, which technically
Yeah.
makes all of your future increases less valuable.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just kind of funny when you roll the exact number and it's like, oh, I made it, and nothing happens.
No.
Aw.
Gotta get the lay of the land first, right? Like, Davlik got to break in there so it's easier for everyone else to do it.
It's just funny that I don't think we ever asked what the skills were in the gallery. Athela's best skill can actually be used in the gallery.
Well, this would be the point where Tychus gets to decide where he wants to go.
I think I'm going to head to the servants' quarters. 'Cause
Okay.
Not my scene up there. And, So, let's see. The skills for the servants' quarters were what again?
A bunch of crafts and
Crafting.
professions. Heal, intimidate, and sense motive.
Okay. Let's go with sense motive.
Okay.
Just gonna sort of go around, get a feel for how the servants think things are going, what the complaints are, what the,
No, the DC on that is 15.
Yep.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
That is enough to just get you the second threshold.
Woohoo!
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we're fairly close.
There's a
It's
lasting positive impression that you guys have managed to make on the staff of the Senate building. And the head cook, Dedrian Noss, she wishes you well in your political ambitions, and she donates 2 potions of delay poison.
Huh.
In case you end up being less popular with others.
That is super fitting.
That is great. Is that a man name or a female name? I can't quite tell.
She's a woman.
Okay, so I will thank her very much for that with a little chuckle at the implication. And hope I'll be able to taste your cooking again. It's quite good.
And they're all yours if you want them, Tychus, or you can hand one or more of them off to Garrick.
Yeah, I'll pass one off to Garrick. Oh.
And I did say delay poison, so this is just to stave it off.
Yep. Drag one.
Still, I've never seen this in a potion for Pathfinder before. I see why it is in this, and you guys, as you can see, there's a lot of very interesting items that they're providing you guys with that you normally wouldn't get in other campaigns.
Yeah.
And I think that I can actually see a lot of use for most of them, even now, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
This is a really unique campaign.
I'm having so much fun with it, and all we've done so far is like talk with people.
Right.
And I think we've had some really good RP from everybody. Like, we've gotten some interesting insights into everybody's characters.
Skylar, I know that you kind of just had the room stolen from you a little bit, but
I'm sorry about that.
Well, that's fine. Garrick, yeah, then we'll go up to the gallery
Okay.
and try to influence.
Are you going with the room, or are you going with Silka the Fantabulous?
Going with the room.
Okay. Do you need me to go over the skills again?
No, he's gonna use acrobatics.
Okay. I like it. You're gonna show off to the children and the performers and the handful of adults up there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you 6 points. No, I'll give you 8 points. I'll give you 8.
Okay.
And we can get initiative again. I finally get to add the gallery to this list. Towards the end of the night, the gallery is involved.
Eric is actually really pretty dang good at acrobatics too. Oh, that was a pretty crummy roll. That was initiative.
You have a bad roll and it's still a 10. Must be nice having good initiative.
It is. It really is. Athela is going to be moving to.
Yeah, I guess.
Assuming there's no event this round, Athela is going to
No.
move up there.
No events. I try and let you guys know in advance before I'm like, let's roll. But I'm sure I messed that up.
She does bid the lady farewell and thank her for the pleasant company and conversation during the meal before heading up.
Of course. Everyone's in the gallery. So normally where I would be like, initiative is being strewn in a weird way, that's finally not the case. It's been so long since it hasn't been, like, kind of rigged. So we'll start with Tychus. What's Tychus doing?
Up here. Yeah. I suppose I will wait for a moment between parts of her show and try to have some kind of conversation with Ahsoka, commenting on her tricks and how impressive some of them are, especially with that rumor in mind of not necessarily being approved magic. Just sort of start sizing her up and getting a feel for the woman, which is how I'm using sense motive. I think that was on the list when you listed those out.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't believe there are any bonuses for that. Checking.
No, there are not. None of your specified people bonuses apply to her, and then the one you get from the courtyard isn't sense motive, but you do have a just general +2 for influencing NPCs that you can justify with the food. If you can do that in some way, I'll let you, but I will say you need to be very creative.
So can I say, like, in a moment when she's like taking a break from like a side of the act or something, I can sort of come over with either like a drink or a small plate and offer that up as we start the conversation.
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
Okay. Oh, wait. Fuck. I didn't add the bonus.
So an interesting fact about her weakness is that it behaves differently than every other weakness you've got before. You can't use it as a bonus on influence checks, and it doesn't apply any specific information. But when you bring it up, she makes it clear. When you bring up her magic, she makes it clear that she's not going to tell you where she gets it from.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it had to happen eventually. So, I guess I mentioned it a little bit too soon and probably caused her to clam up.
She doesn't really feel comfortable about you having noticed that. That's okay.
Okay.
Not enough to offend her. She doesn't feel offended by the statements you've made.
It's a good moment when your bonus is high enough that even if you rolled a nat 1, you don't offend them.
Yeah, it's just sort of a Fair enough, and I sort of let the conversation drift off and leave the field open to other people who might want to try.
Garrick?
I believe that's my turn.
Yeah, Garrick?
Garrick's gonna keep doing acrobatics for the room.
Nice. It's gonna perform for at least 30 minutes today.
Perform for the performers.
Love it.
Do some performance for the children.
Nice. Okay, 4 points to Gryffindor. Literally every time I award you guys points, that's what I think of. As a note, this is enough to... Actually, hold on. 4... What did you get last time? You got 8? Nope,
Yeah.
not enough.
Okay, high thresholds.
Yes, it is very hard to influence the gallery.
Huh.
Bunch of picky little brats.
Yeah, they're kids. You can't...
Yeah, you can't bullshit kids.
How can
I
they
mean, you
teach me
can.
if they can't reach me?
And that one, so that roll was so the 18 is only a 4. Dang. I guess it's a harder influence.
Well, like, think about it. There's a bunch of professionals from around the land performing up here, and Garrick's trying to compete with them.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, getting
I
any
will let
points
you
at all is a
guys
good
know,
thing.
though, that this room is just generally hard for people to interact with when compared to, like, literally every other floor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I have almost as good of acrobatics as you can get at level 1 without taking like skill focus acrobatics. And my modifier is only a little better than Garrick's.
I assume we're about to see what that modifier looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Athela is going to hope she
You guys
rolls
doing a
decently
routine
on that.
together?
I don't know. I guess maybe they could. Let's see how well I roll.
There you go. Flip up onto my shoulders. Do it.
Yeah. Hop up onto Garrick's shoulders.
Then fall
Bro.
off.
Hey,
no.
it's still a 13. She didn't do horribly. She just didn't do well enough to get anything.
Yeah.
She can still hop up on your shoulders. She's just not doing enough to press the people there.
That's okay. It is kind of funny though. That is her best skill.
Going to try bluff again.
Got some stage fright there,
Okay, yeah, give me bluff. Okay, that is enough to make 1 point of progress.
1 point to Gryffindor.
Literally every time I say point, Dumbledore's goddamn voice comes into my head, and I want to pretend I'm not being biased, but it's in all of our interest if I'm interested in your guys' success. So I am biased, which means I'm just as
Yeah.
bad as
Definitely
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
It's hard not to play favorites when there's only one house.
And right now, yeah, there is exactly one house.
Okay. We got another round.
Right.
Oh, actually, hold on. Hold on. The Senate floor is beginning to convene. Something that you guys can all see and hear from up there. They're going to be talking about, various issues, while all the guests, including you guys, will watch from the gallery above, with the exception of each senator and only one of their aides. So if they have more than one, they are also sent upstairs.
Okay.
So the room you're in begins to fill up, remember, with hundreds of people. Since a huge chunk of the people here are not senators or their aides. I will say that, like, a group of 5, as you guys have seen be invited from, like, Lothid is like above average, but still, seeing senators, important figures bring multiple people beyond just their aides. There's a lot of people. There are a few noteworthy people that aren't senators down there, technically don't hold senator positions. A few of the lords and ladies that are prominent. For example, Lady Mortilla, one of the ladies you just talked to, and Princess Entropa are at the front. Big congregation of senators. And who spends the next 30 minutes listening in as the hall argues and votes on formalities and spending bills before reaching the event that all of Taldor's been waiting for, whether to abolish long-standing law, primogeniture. And we'll actually start off with the dialogue right here. First part's not dialogue, but it's the first noteworthy part of everything I've described up here. The political ruling body of Taldor spreads out 20 feet below the observation deck of the gallery. You see a dozen of them and their aides scurrying below, and you hear this cacophony of voices that's almost deafening. There's this ceaseless chatter which continues in the gallery almost endlessly throughout this time. And then suddenly you hear the magically amplified voice of the Senate speaker as he interrupts. And you hear, "Thank you all. I would ask that our observers please be silent and seat themselves." Gestures up towards the gala with a large sweeping motion. We'll now begin voting on amendment number 22,087, the repeal of the ancient law of primogeniture, the insurance of inheritance and aristocratic title solely through male heirs. The following proclamation spoken, and the speaker begins calling on individual senators one at a time to support or oppose the repeal. Each of these early declarations is split pretty evenly between the options, with many senators abstaining from it entirely. And only about halfway through the process do votes begin to favor Princess Entropia's bid to end primogeniture. By the end of the tabulations, the repeal passes with roughly 60% of the Senate's backing. The speaker takes a moment to compose himself, and you can tell that he is seemingly shocked by the results. But once he does compose himself, before he continues to formally announce the initial results, you can see him have to kind of readjust his tie that goes underneath an overcoat he has into one of his many multiple layers. And you hear his voice, once again, very distant, and probably, I'd say, pretty monotone as well. So the final tally for Addendum 22,087, the repeal of primogeniture, with 36 abstentions, the final tally stands at 174, 79 against. The amendment passes. Among other business tonight, the Senate recognizes Princess Entropia Stavian I as the new heir to the Primogen Crown? Primogen Crown? God, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. And the first heir the Empire has seen in 20 years. When this declaration is made, you hear the chamber and it explodes into a riot of applause and a lot of condemnation. It takes several minutes for this cacophony to die down. And the speaker declares that the Senate is closed for a recount to take place, an event that is signaled out by the speaker, declaring a temporary recess of the Senate to outsiders. So,
So they're
A
doing a
recount with numbers like that's not suspicious at all.
following the votes, as you know, multiple of you are kind of picking up on this. Martella Lothide will have you all summoned to her. The speed with all of you hearing from people around you that this speech from the Grand Prince is going to take in about 30 minutes. The meeting takes place in the same spot in the gallery. It's still sanctioned off. And Martella is there waiting for all of you.
For a moment, I thought you meant his speech would take 30 minutes, and I was just imagining him like slowly unrolling a gigantic scroll.
The prince doesn't need scrolls. He remembers 30 minutes worth of speeches. No practice. He wrote it himself in less than 30 minutes.
Out of curiosity, Jacob,
Yeah?
how common is this sort of recount thing?
I don't know that you guys would know that. Give me knowledge nobility checks. I don't know to what degree you would know that. I have general information, but there might be more. Everyone else can roll this too. Yeah. Kind of funny how this panned out. Hey, fella, this is a very rare circumstance that there's actually a recount, like just period. Tychus, Garrick, and Davluk, you know that this almost never happens. It's only when when the votes, almost every time there's been a recount, which is very few times in Taldor history, or at least very few that are mentioned, it's when there's 20 or less votes leading to a law being repealed or new law being passed. So the fact that there's such a large difference here is really fucking crazy.
Yeah. Like even if he switched all the abstains to the no's, the yeses would still have it. That's some nonsense going on down there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I will join our employer here in her little sectioned off area.
Ella definitely is seriously suspicious.
Yes.
As the kids say, it's sauce.
Yes. And so I guess first as I sit down in the so I'm going to look to Martella and ask, how concerned should we be?
I was expecting something like this from the Grand Prince. No doubt he had something to do with this. It's not going to stop us from getting this law passed. As you can see, too many people for it. If it doesn't pass, well, that's something we can speak of if it happens. We can also speak of what happens if the sun goes black, but I won't waste your time until that happens.
It does seem that the princess has a great deal of support. It's honestly heartening to see how many senators voted for her.
I agree. I wasn't quite expecting so much.
Enlightenment, that's what we're all here for tonight. More than just when it comes to the law of primogeniture. A law that many of us don't need to hear anything about here very soon. I'd like to extend my gratitude to all of you for completing the various tasks I extended for this event tonight. And also to the beginning of all of your political career. Seem to have made many an impression on noteworthy people within Fairy Halls tonight. Something that a lot of people can't claim to have done. And I promised I would reward all of you for your task. As soon as this event is over, see those rewards.
It's been a pleasure to assist. Honestly, it was nice to get the opportunity to attend another of these.
It was my honor to do what I could to help.
Was, as you say, enlightening. I look forward to continuing the work here.
I want all of you to be prepared for Staven's speech. It's going to be a concession for Entropia's bid for the throne. The vote doesn't end up replacing Grand Prince. He's made no secret about his opposition. And Princess expects the aging emperor no amount of restraint and her lambasting. I would ask that take this for me. I have been told. You see a letter in her hand. She hands it out to whichever one of you is closest. Decide now.
I guess Athela can take it.
Okay.
No, so that sounds good.
He hands it off to Athela. I've been informed that this is a mission from Calbaio's parents. They can't afford to travel here tonight for the ceremony. Their standings. I have come to understand that it's of personal and emotional nature of the writing within. So Calbaio's parents ask that it not be delivered until after the big day. I would ask that you all give it to him. On behalf of Princess.
Of course. So, if I can ask an out-of-character question, Jacob. So, the Grand Prince is Eutropia's father.
Yes.
He's opposed to her inheriting.
Mm-hmm.
Who does he want to inherit? He has no living heirs. There's no one other than her, and there's no one even within
it's
remotely. I'm just saying, there's no one even remotely close.
Yeah, I seem to remember
family-wise.
from the player's guide, isn't the idea that he wants her to marry someone of his choosing, and the guy she marries ends up being on the throne?
Yes.
That's usually how that kind of thing works.
Ah, okay.
He just hates women.
Yeah, it seems like that. I mean, I doubt he hates his daughter, but something tells me he doesn't want her. Yeah, but he doesn't want her to rule. He wants her to give someone else rulership.
He wants her to be a legitimacy piece for somebody else.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure if we read his journal, we'll find an entry that just reads, "I hate women and minorities."
Okay. This is
they
spitballing. But who are some of? Oh, never mind. I think we do know of at least one very important male person who's a friend of his.
Yeah, like the guy who left with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
The head of the, what was the name of the guard of like foreigners? Those from like the north.
The Ulfengard, but I was thinking of
That wasn't what
Maxilar.
we were talking. Yeah, Maxilar Pitharius is a war hero and buddy with the Grand Prince. He might be trying to get him to marry Eutropia and then become the next emperor, or become the next Grand Prince. Sorry, but that's
That might be the case, but I have a feeling with his position, since it doesn't specifically mention it, that the High Strategos is married.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It would-
could also be the, I was just
It would be
thinking-
strange if he wasn't. But it is possible.
Okay.
Well,
He
I guess.
could very well be married. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair point.
Because it
It
doesn't
doesn't mean it's
actually
not-
tell me. It doesn't tell me who the Grand Prince specifically has in mind, but it does mention that that's what he's gonna do
Yeah.
or wants to
Okay.
do. It sounds like he
That's what
might
his
not be
plan
doing it.
is.
Imagine if we could like ruin the Strategos' reputation by proving he was a virgin and therefore a loser.
I don't think that would actually prove him to be a loser in that way. I mean, the dude has there is a reason he's regarded as a hero by a lot of people in Taldor.
Yeah,
But he's
but
regarded
then
as
we could
not a hero by other people. But
still make fun of him for not being laid at his age.
okay.
All right.
So, I will let you know that with you walking away from Lothid, as she once again gestures for of you to leave, I will let you know you have one final round. Influence either a person or a room before the Grand Prince's speech.
And I'm
So
guessing that
the letter is supposed to be delivered after this, right?
Yes. After
Okay.
the speech is when Calbile of Breezy Creek will be elevated to noble status. After that, you are meant to deliver the note to Calbile.
Okay.
so Athela did note that Davluk was hanging around with Bio earlier, so she's going to hand him the note and say that I believe since you've already made acquaintance with him, or that you should probably be the one to give him this.
Fair assessment, I should say. He says as he pockets the letter into like one of his breast pockets, so he won't forget it.
Nice.
So is the okay? So just as a question, Jacob, is the introduction to the princess and free social round with her, that's not available right now because
No.
Okay.
She's
I was just
still not
checking.
available.
Okay.
But a couple things to note. I'm going to have you all roll initiative, which means we're no longer getting that +2 bonus to influence people. Just straight up.
Okay.
No more munchie bonus.
You guys still have access to the 3 other bonuses.
Yeah.
No more nom nom bonus.
So at this point, the only one that's actually applicable, the bonus to bluff, diplomacy, and intimidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, if Othello wanted to try to diplomacy the fantabulous lady.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what her. Yeah, diplomacy is. Diplomacy, yeah. She can't be intimidated. That's the only one she can't be. Don't ask me why. She's used to it.
Silka the fantabulous.
I love her
Yeah.
name.
Yeah,
Right.
I keep losing the first name out of my head. And I mean,
Here, I'll
the
identify the
name and
picture.
everything.
That way you can just look at the picture anytime you need the name.
Why Silka the fantabulous?
I love her hoops. She has a. You have to look at those things. You know how fucking heavy those must be?
Yeah.
That looks extremely painful.
I'm just saying, like, look at how not long her ears are. She must be using magic to keep those in place. I would have known she was some kind of magic user as soon as I saw those earrings.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay.
we have one final round.
That you do. What will you all do before the king's speech? Athela, you get to start us off. No pressure.
Right. Ella is. I don't know if there's any point to it, but she is going to try an acrobatics check again. She's kind of irritated at the fact that she did not put on a particularly good showing with her first attempt, and is going to make another attempt.
Let's see
Hopefully
it.
do better. Really? Really? Okay. This is not Othello's night for acrobatics checks.
These last few hours have been a little rough.
Yeah, she's a little worn out.
Yeah,
Ate a little too much.
You guys have been here for like 5 or 6 hours. I think this is acceptable.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think she might have drank slightly more than the ideal amount when she was when she was enjoying the dinner and reminiscing, and little tipsy, and that has resulted in her being a little less acrobatic than normal.
I think that's
Because
perfectly fair.
the great thing is that that's reflected here, because even when she's not rolling well, she's still got a 10.
Right.
She's still really acrobatic. She's just not at her normal level.
Steven, did I give you the reroll last week when you did the recap?
You did.
I'll let you use it if you want it for this roll.
I'll do that.
Okay. I think that's fair, because I gave it to you guys last week, and then work stuff came up and got in the way.
Okay, here we go.
I fucking tried, man, but God told you no. That was not me.
Well, hey, we have a lore and narrative related reason. It's okay. Also, that looked like it was gonna be a 19 for a long time there, and then it turned into a 1, and I'm like, ugh.
Oh, that was a journey.
Wait.
But it happens, and we got a reason for it. It's life.
Okay. Moving on to
go.
Davlok.
Yeah, going to try bluff.
Okay. Throw her out there.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Right?
1, 1, 2. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, he's
These are all.
trying. He's just trying to like recount stories of like his ancestors monster slaying in back in Ustalav, but he flubs the name of one of his ancestors and just gets a bunch of giggles.
It's impressive. People are just more focused on the like potentially life-altering effects that this law that probably just got passed have.
And he's doing it with the children.
Oh, the children are probably just giggling at his accent.
There we go. Moving on, Tychus.
Okay. I guess I will make one more attempt to speak with Ahsoka, sort of apologize for my earlier rudeness and express that I do admire her skills and her show, and I'm glad she's here to give the children of Taldor some joy in these somewhat difficult time. So
Look at her eyes when you apologize to her.
Yep, I am doing that. Tychus is he's very hard to keep a straight face. Stone face.
Apparently he does.
Nice. Okay. That's enough. Get 1 point of influence. You need 2.
Yep.
Alright.
Can't get them all.
Garrick?
It's okay.
If Garrick puts effort into it, you could potentially influence Wasilka. But if he
Maybe.
puts effort into the room, you could get the room bonus.
Right?
Oh shoot, I forgot about something. I forgot I have Daring Do. It applies on acrobatics checks. I forgot about that.
What does that
First time
do?
I roll, I can add a d6. It's the first time that I've rolled a check in the game that I can apply that to.
That's the d6 that explodes on 6s, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I just forgot that I had it.
Well, you know what? I'll let you do it after we get done with Garrick's stuff.
Okay.
That's a simple one that's easy to retcon. You know what? Just because it could affect Skylar's decision, let's have you do that now.
Okay. I will use a panache point. And I
Okay.
will Daring Do. So I'm gonna roll a d6. Well, that puts me up to a 15.
It increases the room by 1.
1 point. 1 point.
You need
Hey, at
15
least-
to
at
get to
least
the
you
first
showed me-
increment, and you need 30 to get to the second. You guys are at 14 now.
Oh, if she'd rolled that 6, and then it would have exploded, and it would have gone even farther. Okay, but hey, at least she didn't fail. She
That's
put
true.
extra effort into this one after failing the first one. She like reached into that inner well of energy and just it pulled out a more impressive one this time.
She digged into her inner anime protagonist.
I mean, to be fair, that's not the most inaccurate thing with swashbucklers. They do have some anime protagonist style move abilities, and her archetype in particular definitely has some wacky stuff it can do.
It's fair. So, Skylar, what are you thinking? Are you gonna try and get Wasilka's
Yeah, well, you
influence
said that
maxed
got us
out?
to the first threshold for the room.
15 and 30 for the thresholds.
We're one short.
As a note, all of the first level thresholds up to this point have been stuff that help you in that room or other rooms. I'm giving you a reference point.
And we're running out of time. So, okay, I'll try to influence Wasoka. I'll go on up and have a talk about the local area using knowledge local.
Okay. Oh, no.
Which just misses.
Ah, I'm sorry.
You're one short, aren't you?
Yep.
Yep.
Looking for 16.
I don't think you can panache that one, unfortunately. Daring do that one.
Boy, my dice have just been terrible tonight.
Hey, I've rolled 3 natural ones and multiple 2s tonight.
That's how we are going to end your final social round for probably a very, very long time.
Aw, I
Uh-oh.
like the social rounds.
I think they're great.
It's a fun mechanic.
At this point, hundreds of dignitaries and senators and visitors began to get crammed into the Senate floor as a dozen hulking members of the Ulfen Guard, the personal bodyguards of the Grand Prince, stand arrayed around the podium atop the central circular stage of the chamber. You see a mix of senatorial staffers and the Ulfen Guard assign people to positions within the chamber based on rank and influence, placing you towards the outer wall of the row, well over 80 feet away from the Grand Prince's podium. You see Martella Lothi standing 20 feet closer than you, while the Princess Entropa and several prominent nobles stand at the podium's edge.
So we're now in the Senate floor?
You're not in. You're by the outer wall of the Senate floor. You see the
Okay.
outermost wall of. I mean, I can't say any more than I already
So
have.
we're like here?
You're more like here,
Oh, okay.
like barely in the door, maybe just past that.
Okay, I just was making sure we're not up in the gallery anymore. We've moved down and
Yes.
we're now on the outskirts of the Senate floor because everyone's sort of mobbed in there to hear the Grand Prince speak.
Yes,
Okay.
because technically this isn't. The Senate's not actually in right now, so there's a lot more people down here.
Is he like here? Oh, I can't. I guess you can't see where I'm indicating. Is he like up here?
No,
On this
he's
platform?
not. We're not at that point yet. We'll get to that point when I start talking.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
He has not shown up. We're at the point where everyone's being assigned spots. And realistically, you guys probably aren't like right next to each other, but you're probably like close to each other. You don't need to move around. Don't feel obligated to do
Okay,
that.
sorry.
I'm just trying to set the scene.
Sure.
Once everyone's assigned their spots, we see Grand Prince Stavian III ascend to the taller stage that overlooks the hall from the center. He raises a single hand to calm the murmurs of the assembled crowd. A member of the prince's Ulfen Guard escorts a thrilled-looking man in noble attire, soon-to-be elevated commoner Calbio, to stand several paces behind the Grand Prince. Quite the assembly we have here today. I don't think I've ever seen the Senate building packed so full. especially not for any of my previous speeches. Even my lovely daughter, now a woman, sits among the players of Opera's greatest game. Of course, none of you are here for me. No. Today is about something else entirely. Today is about elevation. It is no secret that today is about exalting others to a new status in life. I'm sure many of you have had the opportunity to meet Cal Bio today. He's a man of the people, elevated the urging of all ladies, lords, senators, and aides present in this chamber. I think we should all give him a rouse of applause to commemorate this monumentous change in his life. Hear the room begin to erupt into cheers as Stavian pauses in his proclamation. The Grand Prince smiles widely as he takes in the adulation of the crowd. Can I get sense motive checks from everyone?
Sure.
Yeah.
There were so many dice all at once.
Okay. What happens next forever alters the history of Taldor.
Uh-oh.
Tychus, you see
Yeah.
the positioning of multiple armed blackguard personnel moving to block exits.
Oh no.
You don't have enough time to stop them. You have time to say something.
Fuck, I don't even know what I would. Are any of the other party members near me?
Yeah, you could I mean, not right next to you. You'd need to talk
Yeah.
between multiple people. You're gonna have to yell at them if you want to talk to one of them specifically.
Give us the heads up. I
I'm
guess
the,
is what
close,
you're saying.
I'm the closest, at least.
Yeah,
no,
so,
maybe I'm the douchebag here, but maybe you should let everyone know.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, beware behind us.
When you yell that out, Tychus, you see several of the attendees begin to look around, all growing tense, not really sure as to what you're referencing. And then the Grand Prince continues. As the applause abates, you see hulking Ulfengard push Calbio forward, almost knocking the Commodore down as he awkwardly regains his balance. And as I brought up earlier, these are big guys, and this is a very, as it states here, a very awkward, uncomfortable man that's not used to this.
Yeah.
But he barely manages to regain his balance beside Grand Prince Staven. The leader of Taldor maintains his calm, places a hand on Calbio's shoulder without even taking his eyes off the crowd. There's a sense of nobility you get from him and how easy this action comes to him. I understand your parents sacrificed everything to help you reach this day, my boy. Saving up for your apprenticeship and the tools you needed to achieve greatness. Today you're a grateful son, no doubt making them proud. I too understand what it is to sacrifice. I've given up so much for the people of this nation. Brother, son, lifetime of service. Even my own daughter's loyalty. He pauses, licking his lips and pulling the awkward Calbio closer to his side. Unlike you, Lord Calbio, these Taldans, my children, truly not grateful. Scheme, plots, dreaming of hanging their dutiful father and placing a woman, sir, on the lion throne. They have seen fit this very day to induct you into their conspiratorial ranks. That's why I'm here. Now, you, Lord Calbile, will be the first many among them to die. With that, the Emperor of Taldor plunges a jeweled dagger between the ribs of the astonished man in his clutches.
Oh no.
From Calbile's now blood-gushing mouth, hear, ah, 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 before he collapses on the stage in a heap. A red-stained Princess Entropia defiantly stands among the nobility, staring up at her father in disbelief. Casting aside cloaks to reveal armor and blades, the unidentified soldiers in the chamber already begin moving to cut down the attending masses in a wholesale slaughter. In total, there must be at least 50 armed soldiers surrounding the room. More than you even saw, Tychus. After a few moments of confusion from most of the Ulfen Guard, the Viking warriors attempt to close ranks around their emperor, cutting down anyone, Black Cat warrior or Panic Senator alike, who approaches them. Masked soldiers guard the doors and make wide arc slashes with their swords to keep the crowds at bay. Within mere seconds, the Senate floor becomes a killing field as Stavian III looks around in deranged wonder at the butchery he's ordered. As the conflict begins to escalate around you very quickly, you see that other members of the crowd pull out hidden weapons from their clothing and engage Staven's agents. These are members of the famed Taldoran Lion Blades, a secret society dedicated to protecting Taldor and her people from interference and foreign powers. Had you not seen their sigil, wouldn't have believed they were real. You actually remember Kathan Zalar, the lady who inspected all of you at the beginning of the event?
Yeah.
She is one of those lion blades. And the reason you notice this is because as they all begin leaping in combat, she shouts out, "Lion blades, to your duties, defend the Senate, defend Taldor!" You even see Martella Lothid and Princess Entropia draw their weapons to fight back against these assassins. And you all see one of Staven's agents walking towards all of you. I'm going to ask for initiative from everyone.
Oh boy. Okay, this went a direction I was not expecting.
No, that was about what I was expecting.
I expected it as soon as Stavian's speech turned into accusatory rants.
Yeah. I don't know. I expected a full-on slaughter on the Senate floor, but I absolutely expected some military coup shit.
Okay. Man, Othello, why do you keep rolling 4s on initiative? Why?
I will throw one of these agents in here for you guys to deal with. We're just going to continue to use this map. It's a little bit it's an abstraction, definitely, but we'll continue to use it because this is what they've provided us. Oof. Got better initiative than all of you.
Oh dear.
Yes. Couple things to note. This man is not immediately in front of you, is making his way towards you. Probably about 30 feet away. And he's
terrain because of all the people.
Yeah, it is going to be difficult terrain. And as he's making his way towards you, he gets almost all the way there. The setup is that he's 30 feet away. But when he gets up next to the closest of you, which in this case would be Garrick, he stops just in front of Garrick to kill a person in the crowd in front of him. They put them in a weird spot. We'll just have them be right there. Convenience sake. And yeah, because the crowd's in like a panic at this point, so everywhere in this building right now is considered difficult terrain.
I don't get to ignore that yet.
Nope. We're gonna start off with Tychus.
Okay. So I see that the fighting is erupting and all this happening. Going to reach up and grasp the iron rose symbol I have around my neck and go protect us from tyranny. And I'm going to cast Bless
Nice.
on, I think I can hit everybody with this. Do I drag that into the chat box or how do I?
So you need to target all your friends.
Okay.
So with Tychus's token selected, you will control left click each friend that's within range, which in this everyone. And then you didn't grab the right bless, so I'm gonna have you grab the right one. Anytime you guys are grabbing spells, you need to grab them from the PFSRPD spellbook because it actually has all the effects coded in them. So you're gonna want to go grab that bless real quick.
Okay. Sorry about this.
No, it's all good.
So spells.
Quite often you'll see that they have like a letter at the end of them, so the bless from the PFRPG spellbook has a Y at the end of it. But I would also double check the book just to be safe, because
Okay,
not all
so
of them do.
The one with the Y next to it. Okay.
Yes, in this case. If you drag that onto your sheet, it will actually have the effects on it if you hit the little magnifying glass next to it.
Okay. So. Alrighty. So
you'll just
once I have it selected, I then left click on each of my party members.
So no, you would start off by left clicking everyone you want to target with the effect, and then you would click the two different buttons because the spell is split up into two effects.
Okay.
Thing to note about effects for anyone who doesn't know this: if you put effects on someone, you're the only one who can delete them. The exception for that is me. I can delete any effects. I know it makes sense because it's a GM, but still some people need that clarification. So quite often, if there isn't coding built in for it, or even sometimes when there is coding built for it, if I'm going to put an effect on you, like one of the standard ones, like Dazed or something like that, I will just tell you to put it on yourself for speed's sake. So when it stops being a thing, you can just take it off while I continue doing whatever I'm doing.
That correct then?
It doesn't
it's just
look
on you.
correct.
I
You
thought I had
clicked the
everybody
button, but you
selected.
didn't have anyone targeted.
Have to target
Okay.
people.
Yeah, make sure you have your token selected. You'll see a little ring pop up around it, and then hold control and left click all your
Oh,
friends.
control. I was shift clicking.
Oh, okay. Yep, that'll change it. And you'll be able to see in the combat tracker who you're targeting, as well as if you hover over your token, or if you have your token selected, you'll see a bunch of arrows pointing to them with this.
And don't forget to target
Okay.
yourself too with this one.
Group.
There we go. So
Now you just hit the two
Then-
effects,
that.
and you'll see in the chat box it tells you you've put all these effects on these people, and it does this certain thing.
All right. Thank you for your patience there.
Yeah. Some of us are learning how to use the system. That's just something we all have to expect. Very rare I get to play a game with someone who's either not new to Fantasy Grounds and or Pathfinder.
Yep. All right. So that's my action.
Nice.
The unsheathing your like peace-bound weapon is a full action, not a move action, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's
So I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was saying yep.
Oh. Not really sure what else to do there, so I think I'm just gonna take a 5-foot step this way.
Okay.
Difficult
And
terrain. We
well,
can't
so
do
it's
it.
10 feet, but yes.
So it's just a move.
Yeah, just to move that direction.
Okay. And if you're done with your turn in the combat tracker in the bottom left, there's actually an arrow pointing down you can click to show that you've ended it.
Uh,
You know where the combat tracker is?
is that the chat thing, or is that a different thing
Cross
No,
entirely?
swords.
in the top
Yeah,
right,
the
it's the
cross
two
swords.
cross swords.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it has all the information that you would need at a quick glance to realize about other people. Initiative,
Oh,
HP, effects. Like you can see in the combat tracker the effects everyone has.
I'm
Okay.
going to cast Mage Armor on myself since I can't use Color Spray without blinding an awful lot of innocent bystanders.
Like dozens of people, yeah. I
Let's get
love
this
the idea though of
ribbon
just
going.
like dozens of people falling over, running into walls, like ah, I can't see.
Yeah, please don't color spray the general populace.
It was on that day that Davluk was responsible for 24 people dying in a riot. And at the pace we're going, we're actually going to get to the appropriate spot for leveling up before Damien has to leave.
Yeah, I actually just got a text from my brother, so I actually have a few more minutes since he's running a little late.
Cool. All we need to do is get this fight finished, and it would be the appropriate time to level up.
Yep.
Mage Armor, and that's my turn.
Okay, just end your turn in the combat tracker. A habit we all gotta develop.
Athela is going to. So Athela sort of shrugs her coat off some, like shrugs her coat, the coat, and reaches in to start undoing. Oh, she undoes the peace bond on her weapon and pulls out a a sort of medium length curved blade and holds it out in the direction of the Asian. You will not harm anyone else. I'll stop you. Can't move because that's the full round to draw her weapon. So and can't 5-foot step because difficult terrain. So that's going to be her turn.
Eric of Riveria.
Yeah, Garrick's gonna unbind his weapon.
Okay, pretty simple turns, quick, easy, even for first levels. That Stavian guard actually says agent on here. We don't really know what they are, so agent works. Walks towards you, Garrick, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna hit with this bastard sword in his hand.
Well, Garrick's gonna try to parry.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Oh god.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
pull it off, but
Holy shit, that attack bonus.
I don't know. Does parry, if you get a natural crit, does parry just automatically succeed, or do you have? Because I know it says you have to hit that number or higher.
Oh dear.
Does it say crit on there? It'd be under panache, I assume.
Attack roll as if
Oh, did you not?
greater than attacks automatically. This is what there after attacks announced before. Does not. There is nothing that says anything about a crit. Though there is
Okay.
the rules for crit is that natural 20 succeeds. So I don't know.
I think but this isn't an attack. I think it does need to make the 27. Can you make 27 at any point?
I don't think so. I think it's just a +5.
Okay. Yeah, then you're not going to be able to make a parry.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I think,
As the mercenary raises a gore-soaked sword and begins to swing at you, Garrick, there's a blinding flash of light in front of all of you. When it fades, only blackness and the smell of cold earth remains.
Oh,
This is the point where we should probably level up. because we have just finished the first chapter. War for the Crown.
We all got knocked out by something.
Yep. That was a fake out. Which I was thankfully given plus 14 on that attack roll. I don't think we were.
And
That
that
had magic weapons. Yeah, and was clearly high level.
Yeah, scarier than we were.
you want to know the CR for the Davian agent?
Sure.
CR 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, we could have taken him.
We were not
A
actually
couple of
supposed to
20s.
actually-
We could have done that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's possible, but oh.
I don't think it actually
I think
is.
It's possible for us
Yeah.
to hit him.
It's possible for you to roll 20s.
Yeah.
Oh, so that guy's AC is
25.
Jesus. What kind of
Yeah.
armor is he wearing?
+1 full plate.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't look like full plate. That's why that's why I was confused. I was like,
And there's 50 of these guys. A lot of people are going to die.
Oh yeah.
well, something clearly intervened, or we would have all died.
Remember, you guys are the very small fish. Yeah,
Mhm.
why don't you all give me perception checks before we move on to leveling up?
Or-
I need higher numbers than those. There we go.
Oh, of course.
Fellow
This is
fully focused
natural.
on this.
This is natural 1, number 4 for tonight.
Yeah.
The dice giveth and the dice taketh.
Dice have mostly taketh from Attila tonight. I'm just gonna say that.
Garrick, even though you were the one that was about to be struck, right when it hit like your outermost layer of your noble clothing, you saw your aid badge you'd gotten from Lotheed. It glows. That's where this blinding light comes from.
Ooh. Maybe it like teleported us out of there or something.
Yeah.
Contingency spells.
Are you
Yeah.
are you saying that we've activated the Staven contingency?
Yeah, activated our trap card.
I play Staven Agent. I love it.
Okay.
It does sound like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we need to level up.
Yeah. I know we didn't do the break. I would like to do the break at this point, but I am willing to stick around until Damien. Like, are you going to be able to work on any of this right now, Damien, or do you have to wait until later in the week?
I don't have anything. It says he's on his way, but that could be like another 20, 30 minutes.
Okay. Is that enough
So-
time for you to get a character together or a level up together?
I think so.
Okay.
It shouldn't be
I mean,
that
it's-
complicated.
It's second
Level two
level.
is pretty simple.
You're playing an Inquisitor. It's not terribly complicated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you guys are
Please
getting
don't inflict
levels,
wounds for my sake.
if,
Yeah.
Well, before we talk about that, I need to talk about the leveling. If you're getting a new level, which everyone is right now, you need to make sure that you drag it from the classes sidebar, and you need to make sure you drag it from the same place you got the original one from. I know for some things they have multiple copies of it. If you look for them in the classes, it might have multiple copies of an archetype or a class itself if they've come from multiple books. You need to make sure you get the right one. If anyone is not confident that they are getting the right one, I will save copies of their character now before they drag a new level up. Because if you drag from if you drag the same class / archetype, but it's from a different book, it will treat it as if you got the first level twice. It will treat them as different classes, effectively. And then we will have to roll them back, and it's actually pretty fucking annoying if you don't know what you're doing to recalculate your level. You can't just change the number on your class from 1 to 2 in either direction. We'd have to go in and mess with saves, your attack bonus, your HP, your class abilities, all that stuff.
I think I actually do get something cool at this level.
Alright, so I only see one version of Urban Infiltrator here, so I think I'm good.
You're safe.
I
Drag
think
it on
I
your
am
sheet,
almost
it'll
level.
automatically say you level 2. It'll automatically put any new class abilities you have in there. I don't know what an Urban Infiltrator gets it to.
I think it's mostly the normal Inquisitor stuff.
Cool. Then you'll see on your class abilities, any new stuff you have will be on there.
Okay, so I need to drag over Azaterio Swashbuckler.
Things to note, your cunning initiative, you'll have to manually adjust your initiative to reflect that.
Fair enough.
Any things class abilities do, you will have to manually set up because it's not an automated thing.
Yeah.
What else do you get at level 2 for an Urban Infiltrator?
Get
Slash
my
Inquisitor.
Detect Alignment,
Ugh.
Stern Gaze, and Track. So
Okay.
that's bonus on Intimidate and Sense Motive equal to half level. Or may I already have that, actually?
Stern Gaze looks like it's a level 1 because it doesn't say it at level 2 when
Yeah.
you grab it. But if you didn't have that in place, it would be worth checking.
Yeah, I think I already had that added in. And then
Yeah, it looks
I
like
get
you do.
half my level on survival checks to Track.
Yeah. So you can do that on the skills tab on your character sheet in the miscellaneous column.
Yeah, I already have a bonus down in Sense Motive in that. I think I got one from that and one from my Helping Patriot trait.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a total of 2.
You just need to put the actually I wouldn't put the survival because that's a situational survival.
Yeah, it's a situational, so I'll just have to remember that.
And then the detect alignment, you don't have to, but if you want to make I don't think you need to do anything for that unless you want to specifically remember, like, hey, I can use these detect spells. You can just leave it in detect alignment as opposed to putting it on your sheet.
Yeah, I think I can probably just leave that in the class abilities.
I think detect alignment is one of the like most morally wrong spells to exist.
Yeah, I don't really. For me, at least, I usually only really use alignment in my campaigns for outsiders, so spells like that only work on like devils and demons and stuff like that.
I like the loyalty system. I just don't use it in these games for simplicity's sake. Is that where you got that from, or is that not?
It's just kind of a homebrew thing that I've ran for a long time.
That's literally one of the version of loyalties, whereas like you can remove alignment for everything except for outsiders.
So, Jacob, where would I find information on lore?
Under the background skills. It's literally just supposed to be a more you get proficiency in lore if you have proficiency in any knowledge skill, and it's supposed to be more specific than any knowledge you would get. So you can't put down like lore everything. But you could put down
lore Taldan history works.
Yes. You could take it even farther. You could be like lore Taldan noble history, or you could go lore if we're sticking with the noble things, you could go lore Taldan nobility as a kind of an alternative in between that.
Right.
You can get as specific as you want, but I'm not going to be like, hey, if you have a lore check, it could apply to this. I'll ask you guys something, and if it sounds like one of your lore checks applies to it, or if you're curious, you can ask me.
Okay.
And then I might let you use it if it's applicable. The more specific a lore check is, the lower the DC would be compared to a regular knowledge check. The more general it is, though, the less of an effect it'll have. If you just have lore Taldor, that could potentially be the same DC as a knowledge history check, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be higher, because lore Taldor could be used, in my opinion, it could be used for a lot of things. It could be used for geography, history, nobility, local. So it might just be, if depending on what you choose for lore, could, in a way, be like a catch-all. It would just be a higher DC than the default.
Okay.
And they have a version of that for craft as well. I think it's called like Artisan or something like that. Or maybe it's Perform? I think it's Craft, but it might be Perform. I think it's Craft. I like lore.
I get 8. I get 8 points to this level.
Yes, I heard there's a handful of people grabbing some knowledge, some knowledge
Yep.
skills.
Snagging knowledge engineering because Duke Centimus actually got me interested in that.
Do you want to know what
Not a
the
class.
name of this last event was called?
What?
Sure.
Empire's End?
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're gonna have some interesting things we gotta do. This campaign just took a turn.
You're probably wondering how we got here.
Well, take a point out of that and might not be a bad idea there. So,
Okay, so 9,
8.
8, so I have more skill.
Yeah, actually, let's do that and put a point in survival instead. Okay, so
Oh, wait, I don't have 2 more skills. I have 1 more skill. I forgot. I need to put one in acrobatics. I always have to put a point in acrobatics.
Probably a good call if you're playing the Swashbuckler.
Yeah, and this particular swipe, this is a mobility based one, so yeah. Behold, plus 10 bonus. Oh look, it's another 2. Good thing this didn't count for anything.
Why didn't my list of knowledge skill rose considerably, and I added 1. Now I get to learn 2 more fucking languages.
oh boy.
Nice.
Well, I
Alright, so
really
I
wonder if
only-
I should even bother with linguistics, given Volkir seems to have decided to heavily focus it, but
That
Thelas
seems
seems to also
to...
be good at it.
Remember, we're playing in an intrigue game, so there's a much higher chance in this campaign than most that you guys will not be in the same place at the same time.
That is fair.
I would recommend linguistics for everyone.
My skill points are already spread out. I think I gotta.
Can't go asking me to translate everything for you.
Okay, so for the lore skill, so I should just make it knowledge and then note lore, whatever.
Can't you just add, like, any skill on these sheets? I didn't think you had a specific... Yeah, you can just hit plus, add custom skill,
Oh, custom skill. Okay.
then just call it
Um,
lore, whatever, in parentheses. What are you gonna go with for your lore, or lores? I don't know how many you're doing.
I was just
Now
making
Dadlookin's top to dwarves and devils.
Nice.
I love that he just suddenly knows 2 new languages.
Does the number of spell slots update automatically with the
No,
caster level going up, or okay.
no. You have to manually adjust that.
Alrighty.
Though I believe it does change the caster level.
Yes, it did. That's why I wasn't sure if it would do that on its own.
No,
So
unfortunately.
the
it
thing is, Jacob, I don't know if there's any point to taking Taldan noble history because I also have knowledge nobility specifically. So I think it might just be more a general interest in the history of her nation more than anything else.
It's fair.
So yeah, Lord Taldane history. She only has 1 rank in it, but still, it's not bad.
When
Oh,
I
Lord history.
was a player in Mummy's Mask, I had like 5 or 6 different lores by like level 4, and one of them was like Lore Anubis because I was a worshiper of Anubis, and then, so I thought it was
That's
way better
fair.
than Knowledge Religion, but I didn't have access to Knowledge Religion as an alchemist.
Right.
And then I had another one that was Lore Ancient Osirian Pharaohs. Try and get as specific as I could for that one.
You know, the funny thing is, I could use that background skill point just to take knowledge history anyway.
That can be used for lores too. If you have a specific idea, lore is what it should be.
Hey, how do you change how many spell slots you should have? Like,
Yeah, let me hop
modify
over to your
that.
sheet so I can visualize it. I know how to do it reflexively. You hit the microscope next to the banner for your class, next to the caster check button,
Okay.
and then you can go in there and adjust based on level. If you do
I
it for
see.
0 level spells, it's changing the amount you have on there.
Yeah. Alright, so to increase that by 1.
Yeah, you just click on it and then type the number. It won't give you a prompt.
Okay.
That's how it is for like everything in Fantasy Grounds. It doesn't give you a prompt, which is annoying.
Alrighty, so yep, I got my new spell.
Oh, I'm
Get
curious. Does
rid of
Garrick have
this.
an archetype?
Yes.
A particular type of swashbuckler?
I mean, his first level, he's an inspired blade swashbuckler. Now he's an empiricist investigator for his second level.
Huh. Multiclassing. Starting at level 2. That's early multiclass right there.
To be honest, there's a lot of people that do that. Like what I see most often for multi-classes is a martial guy who goes in multi-classes early on to get vivisectionist.
Yeah.
I hate
It gave me weapon finesse at level 1. It gave me weapon focus for rapier. It gave me, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's really sweet. It's just it's one of those things where a lot of people say the best way to play Swashbuckler is to take one level of Swashbuckler and then do the rest of your levels in another class because Swashbuckler is so front-loaded. So I'm just hoping I hope I don't get overshadowed by I hope my Swashbuckler abilities don't get overshadowed by the guy with one level of Swashbuckler.
I mean, I don't think so. You guys play in
Because
different
people have said
archetypes,
that.
right? Like they behave differently.
Yes.
Please tell me that you got inflict wounds with your new knowledge spell, right?
Doesn't have to get inflict wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm considering if I want to change one of my spell slots. Actually, I don't know if the Inquisitors do that.
I don't actually know with Inquisitors. It's been a long time since I've looked at them.
Okay.
I can look though. I'll check real
Yeah,
quick.
no. I actually have it open. I only can change a spell slot at 5th, 8th, and 11th.
So we might not be able to heal you right now, Davluk.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to have to prepare infernal healing for myself and no one else.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had not originally designed Tychus as a full-on healer. I was more about buffing. So I had to take cure light wounds at this level just so I did have some heal.
Well, I mean, next level, if needed, you can grab.
Grab inflict.
Yeah.
Of course, Davok probably is going to have to tell the rest of the party that he is a Dhampir because he's.
No,
kept
that would help
very-
too.
Yeah, because we're not. I don't think people are going to spontaneously take it unless there's a reason. Inflict
I'm
is
not
far
sure
less
if anyone. I'm not sure if anyone even suspects him of being more than like a albinistic foreigner.
At the same time,
Yeah.
we're talking about Inquisitor here. It is divine magic, which normally is not chosen by the by the Inquisitor itself. Normally, it's just this is what your god gives you for the situation. The player
true.
prepares it, but
So if Milani looks kindly down on you,
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. I think we're going to be very different. I just found it interesting that we had a swashbuckler dip too.
Like, do any of the other people in the party even suspect Davok is more than just albinistic?
It's a knowledge 10 local check to identify a person of a race like Dhampir. So depends on if somebody made a knowledge 10 local check.
you'd have to give us a reason to like think of that, I suppose. And I don't think.
Yeah, like the only reason I think is that Ustalav throughout the rest of Galarin is like stereotypically associated with vampires.
Yeah.
Because it's the I want to suck your blood country.
It's one of those things that because of its DC, it's literally assumed knowledge that anyone can take advantage of in the setting if they want to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might say like, I'll make you roll for it, but like, these are things people know about. If they think you're a damn fear, that may or may not be true, but it's still their belief. That doesn't sound like anyone does.
Well, nobody's called me a bloodsucker yet.
Well, not everyone's racist.
Yeah. So, linguistics.
All right.
Ooh,
So
wait. So does each rank in linguistics give me one language or two languages? I don't remember how this works.
Each rank
It's
gives you a
only
new
two
language.
if you've got a trait for it.
Oh. Yeah, you're significantly better
Yeah.
at this than Athela is.
Yeah, I think he has double-digit languages.
I've got a trait that lets me get 2 languages for every linguistic point, and I've got 5 for my intelligence bonus.
Yeah. I'm like, why did I decide to invest in linguistics? Well, I know why I did. There is a actual reason why Athela has ranks in linguistics, and it's not really so she can speak multiple languages. It's for something very different.
Davlok had to learn multiple languages to read the texts in his family library.
What would
Like,
another
it's-
language? What would another language actually be fitting for her to know? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
If I'd probably say Elven is probably like one of the more common prestige languages of the region.
Hey,
She already-
Volkir.
Draconic is also like if you speak Draconic, you're fancy.
was more
Volkir, I
asking,
think you have
Jacob,
one
is-
more language than you're supposed to. Supposed to get 6. You start with common, you get 5 from intelligence. You said you have a trait that lets you get 2 for each rank in linguistics. That adds up to 10.
And I think I have either a trait or a feat that gives me 1 additional one.
I see a class feature. That's the only thing I've seen. And it's not a bonus language. It just lets you get Draconic because of your race. Unless you might have a trait.
So I got one question. Skylar, are you intending to take disable device on Garrick?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm not going to put any more points into that.
So, Jacob, what would an example of a good what are some other languages that are fairly common in Taldor? I have right now I have
Yeah,
common.
it's from Noble Scion, Scion of Magic. That's where the extra language is from.
Noble.
I mean, the player's guide says there's Lanti, Kellish, Scald.
I don't see Noble Scion on your character. Oh, from your feet. Okay. Yeah, the player's guide is what I would defer to because personally, I don't know. I would imagine stuff that's I mean, I would look at the player's guide. That's probably the best thing. I only have the first book, so like any suggestions I make are hard to be not spoilers.
All right, so I believe I am done here. So I gotta get out of here so I can get ready to go. Thank you for the fun game, guys. Definitely looking forward to continuing this
Next week.
next week.
Oh, as a note, I know we've ended up missing some time, but this is the last session of. No, we got one more this month, don't we?
Yeah, there was
That's
5 this
31st.
month.
Yeah, it's the last day of the month. Okay,
Yep.
never mind then.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you Gentiles.
Merry Christmas.
I already had Hanukkah earlier this month, so that's my
Yeah.
holiday.
Well,
Yep,
so right
everybody
now
enjoy.
everyone speaks Aslanti, Common, Elven, and Howlet. That's actually a language that's apparently useful to know.
I mean, it makes
Howlet is
sense.
the primary language of like the barbarian people to the north.
Yeah, I'm not okay. I guess she learned that studying the military history, where like crusades against it. I don't know.
Yeah, like it's like the like you know like in Kingmaker like there's the barbarians and like the
No.
fourth.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah, they
Stop
mostly
it.
speak
Hey. No. I've told you about this. Do not do that. Don't bring up shit from other campaigns. People might want to play them, and you don't have the right to ruin it for them.
Oh, at this level, I also add charisma bonus to my saving throws against all mind-affecting effects.
Oh, so you're like a 1/3 of a paladin.
I'm a little more than a third of a paladin, but yes. I also get the mercies and stuff, so I get some cool things. My archetype is cool. It's just weird.
Isn't there a paladin archetype that like turns it into like a sort of a swashbuckler?
I don't know.
Yeah, Virtuoso Bravo.
Well, I like the Esoterial Swashbuckler. I'm having fun with Athela. She's
And
a
plus,
fun character.
Virtuoso Bravo does carry an alignment restriction.
So does Athela's class.
What's the restriction to?
Chaotic good.
Yeah, so Virtuoso Bravo requires lawful good, obviously.
Are any of you guys finished?
Yeah.
I'm double checking.
Just let me know when you guys are finished so I can check your character sheets. Are you there, Volkier?
Yep, finished everything and logged out.
Oh, okay. And I guess I'll leave it up to you guys. If you guys want to just call it for the day, that's okay. But if you guys do, like, we still do have a little bit of time. If you guys want to start the second act, we can.
I think it might be better to do it with everybody here.
Then I will just check everyone's
That was
sheets.
my thinking as well.
Hey, if everyone's happy with that, I'm happy with that. Are you cool with that, Skylar?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
We had a good session, and I would prefer to play with Damien personally. He's been a great party member to play with. So.
I feel the same way. Damien's a good lad. We got a good little group going here, and hopefully with the holiday, like, I have a feeling we won't get anyone next session, but I think our chances once the beginning of the year comes around are going to be a lot higher of getting a new person.
So if Owen was to return and have a reason, be able to come back, or?
Yeah, but I wouldn't count on that. I wouldn't expect that.
Okay.
I'm guessing Bad Jacob is not welcome back for just ding dong ditching the rest of us.
Yeah, no, if you leave and you block me, then you're not coming back.
Yeah, that was pretty douchey.
If you leave without saying anything for an extended period of time, and I see you online, then you're not coming back. And if you leave and you're not online for an extended period of time, that implies that something really bad happened. So if you come to me and talk to me about it, things should be fine.
I had that once where like I thought one of my players ghosted me, and then like 4 weeks later I got a ping from their Discord, and it was their they asked if they could use a voice chat, and I heard a completely different voice on the other end of it telling me that the user had passed away due to COVID.
Stuff like that can happen, right? Like presumably it's bad stuff if they don't have the time to send you a text message. So I assume something bad happens if that's what happens. I don't want it to happen, but that's what makes the most sense.
So I have Athela ready. Athela
Okay.
is the old squishy swash. She is a squish, but
I'm gonna start
she's,
with Volkir because he finished his first. What do you get for your class? What do I need to look at? What class abilities did you get this level for Davlin?
Wait, let me see what levels that exploiter wizards get exploits.
First and every 4 after.
Okay, so nothing on that front for a bit.
Did you get any second level stuff, or you just? I know most wizards are just.
No. So I basically just get a few extra spells.
Nice.
And that's it.
Okay. I mean, hey, it's spells, right? There's a reason wizards don't have many class features. It's because they have magic.
They have the best spell list in the game. They don't need more.
I'm surprised by the amount of people that say they do, though. People that are all
there are cool things you can do with. There are some cool things you can do with wizards.
agreed.
The thing is, like, magic is supposed to be like the primary class feature for full casting classes that aren't like spontaneous casters.
Or druids, because druids.
Like, druids were the class most heavily nerfed in the transition from 3rd edition to Pathfinder, and is still probably the most foolproof class.
Druids should have been nerfed more than Unchained Summoner. I mean, more than Chained Summoner should have been nerfed, but that's a hill that's passed. So I've accepted that that's not going to happen.
Hey, here I'm gonna. Did you go with favorite class bonus skill ranks?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to check.
Because if I have to rely on my hit points, something has probably gone wrong.
Yeah, that's normally the train of logic with wizards. I mean, yours is pretty straightforward. I didn't check the spells, but I assume you've updated your spells.
Yeah, just some basic utility spells, mostly.
Okay, then I will check
like
out.
Ears of the City, since this is a very intrigue-focused campaign. I know, like, some GMs hate it because it simplifies a lot of investigation, but I thought it would be. This is like the best campaign for it.
I don't have a problem with it. In fact, there's someone else in the party who has it. Tychus has Ears of the City. That was one of his first level spells.
Oh.
He had that and Bless.
I've been with some GMs who always contrive a reason for every corpse to have a busted mouth just so he couldn't solve the mystery with Speak with Dead.
I mean, if you guys want to dedicate spells to it, I'm fine with it, but also understand that sometimes the AP accounts for that, and sometimes it doesn't. And I know that might sound dumb, me bringing it up. Those are two very distinct things. Sometimes you come with Ears of the City, and the AP's like, here's a reason that's not going to work. And then sometimes you come with Ears of the City, and they don't account for that. So if I use Ears for the City appropriately, you guys end up missing on some varying amount of the actual campaign itself.
Yeah, like a lot of APs have like dead bodies tend to have like the jaws ripped off purely to account for Speak with Dead.
I just let people know for spells like that it can lead to us skipping content if you do take it.
Aw. Yeah, skipping content, big no-no in my opinion, but...
Okay, but the amount of shit you guys skipped in the first chapter of Book 2 for Rise of the Ruin Lords is actually a lot.
They're like trying to. It just happened that way.
So much.
Meanwhile, Wrath of the Righteous is one of those campaigns that, like, I sometimes just let players skip content because we all know what it's going to be.
That's fair. If it gets boring, skipping can be a good call. I've seen people do that a lot. Most people do that with the first Skull and Shackles chapter. And I could see I did pick up the pace for some of for a few of our sessions. I adjusted pace both down and up for 2 of the sessions we've had for this game so far. So I've done a little bit of tampering. Not much, but just a little bit. Definitely not as much as I would if I was going to adjust stuff in like Skull and Shackles, for example.
Oh, so,
Go ahead.
I was just saying I also have Athela ready for you or when you're set.
Yeah, I'm checking her out right now. What were your level 2 abilities that you got for your class?
There was literally one ability. You might
Elysian
check
Conviction? Elysian?
it. Elysian Conviction.
Okay.
Her, as long as she has a panache point, she adds her charisma bonus to her saving throws against mind affecting, which makes her will save actually not garbage against mind affecting. And a lot of the worst will save things are mind affecting, so it's actually a pretty cool ability.
Yes.
It replaces the ability swashbucklers have to just choose to add their charisma a certain number of times per day to any save. So it's sort of hit or miss. I mean, it's a very fitting ability, so I like it.
A unusually fair trade-off. That's what I'll call it. I think some of the trade-offs, I think a lot of the trade-offs in Pathfinder for archetypes are bullshit.
Yeah, I
think a lot of them
to
are.
be honest, I'm not sure my mercy feature is worth giving up 4 bonus feats. But at the same time, I love the archetype's flavor, and the mercy thing is really cool. So I'm just gonna live with the fact I have less feats and enjoy being able to cure people of wounds with hugs. Because that's cool. And it expressly says by showing affection. So I'm interpreting that as her like giving people hugs.
And get behind
I
it.
think like most of the gun archetypes like trade out like almost everything to be a shittier gunslinger.
There's a few that are justifiable. There's like 4 or 5.
Like the gun paladin, if I remember, is like you cripple yourself to be a half-rate gunslinger.
Oh, you're talking about classes that can get gunslinger abilities.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
like-
what he's talking about. The archetypes that give you some gunsling.
I thought you were talking about archetypes for gunslingers.
No, like the non-gunslinger gun archetypes for other classes tend to almost universally like cripple yourself for not very much in return.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can't think of any off the top of my head that are just like good trade-offs.
The
Gun-
gun list is not bad.
It's okay, but it's not like great.
Well, anyway, I was saying it's not a bad one. The gun alchemist is horrible. That's the one I was talking about. But I put the level up thing into skills.
Okay. Gonna look at
Rather
your
than
skills right
HP.
now. Nice. Okay. Good to see where you're focusing.
Like skills will generally get you farther than like 1 more HP, especially towards like later levels.
Still the same.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is Athela is like she's not the most sturdy of people. She's, as we've discussed, she's not large. She's 5'3" and weighs 108 pounds. That's counting her clothes.
When I first started playing role-playing games, I realized very early on, like with my second character, when I started my second camp, I realized that people are really squishy. This is my first time playing a character who wasn't just a blaster caster on the back line. And I died very quickly. And that has stuck with me ever since then. So I don't care what it's going to be like at later levels. I need to make sure I live to see those goddamn levels.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying I don't build optimally, really. I build based on what I think the character would do, and I think she would probably have the more cerebral stuff rather than being a little bit tougher.
And plus, like Davluk is like mostly a scholar. Like my pitch with him is that he's supposed to be like all 3 of like the Castlevania protagonists rolled into one, but he does lean a bit more to like Cypher.
I haven't watched Castlevania, but I heard it was actually really good. Is that true?
Yes, like I binged all 4 seasons and enjoyed it.
Okay. Then maybe when I'm done with Witcher, I'll watch Castlevania. I can have that be my next TV show.
The,
So
like
is
the scariest revelation Castlevania makes is that death is British.
okay. I don't get it, but okay.
I'm sure you will if you watch the show. I think your character looks good, even.
Yeah. So behold the glory though of Othello's reflex saves. Well,
Like,
that's not very
That
glorious,
would be
but
62,
You got a
but
3
only
finally! Finally got a 3.
102, but only 142 pounds because he's pretty skinny. So he's like 1 inch shorter than Samus Aran, but a whole 50 pounds lighter.
What do you get? You get a lot of stuff this level, right, Skylar? Are you finished?
I think so.
Okay.
yeah, because he adds a whole nother class worth of class features.
Yeah, so I added alchemy, inspiration, and trap finding.
Ooh. I have a weird feeling it didn't do the HP right, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, because you don't get the full HP. You would get the average HP because it's not literally the first level on the character.
18. You went Constitution both times?
I didn't get a favorite class bonus the first time because investigator is my favorite class. Um,
Oh, right, yeah, that's the thing about multiclassing. You don't get the favored class bonus.
Yeah, but
For
even
both.
doing that, so we do the math, it's it was 8 for one and 10 for the other.
Swashbuckler started out with 10 plus my con bonus, which is 2.
That's 12. And then you've gotten 10 since then, but that doesn't add up.
Shouldn't have gotten 10. He should have gotten half for the alchemist, and then he should have gotten the +2. What he got was he got the full D8 for the alchemist +2.
Yeah, I should have gotten 4 plus 2, plus I did take 1 HP for my favorite class, so
You should
I
have
7, so I should be at 19.
Okay, just lower it by 1.
Yep.
You just have to manually adjust it, and then in the future it will update properly.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna get a bunch of investigator stuff. Doesn't that? I assume that includes brew potion. Isn't that a thing that most investigators get early on?
I mean, I have it on the sheet under alchemy, just under class abilities.
Do they specifically get brew potion though, or are they just treated as having it for certain things? There's a lot in here. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, alchemy lets them use craft alchemy to make like all these specific like alchemist formula, or yeah.
What's different than
Use
brew
another
potion?
formula for level sort of like spells. I have those noted down in my notes on my first level formula.
Okay. Got inspiration. That'll be fun.
Yeah, D6 to any knowledge roll or a couple of other things.
So wait. You have you have panache things. So this is funny. He can daring do, and he can inspiration, and they work on the opposite set of skills. So he can basically do it for either. That is disgusting.
Yeah, and
but
because
awesome.
it's inspired blade, I have my int bonus and panache points as well as my charisma bonus. So I've actually got a fair number of panache points.
You will need to set up a point. I don't know if you've done it, but you'll need to set up something in the action tab to keep track of inspiration. Well, I'd recommend doing it next to panache.
Inspired blade is the. Wait a second. You went swashbuckler, and then you went inspired blade, and inspired blade is essentially the alchemist. I mean, not alchemist. The investigator archetype that takes a bunch from swashbuckler anyway, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it's a very int-based swashbuckler.
I think that you are going to. I think you are going to out to out tier me in usefulness pretty fast. But we'll see.
I don't think so. You guys are doing different things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting any more of that swashbuckler stuff, so you're going to be focused on that. I've got enough so that I'm decent with my rapier, which was my goal, and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I get some fun things. Like I get movement speed bonuses. I get to ignore difficult terrain.
Yeah, you're
I
gonna have
get
things.
to
You
I
don't
get
need to
a
worry
I get
about
a
it.
version of Pounce. It's
Tyler?
pretty fun.
I
Um,
get none of that.
I would like you to, well, I can tell you're not finished, but before you're done today, can you add a special effects bar onto your character sheet as a place to keep track of your inspiration and your panache? They don't
I
need
am
to
not
have
sure
the
how to do
effects
that,
on
but
them.
I'll try to figure it out.
You don't need to.
I tried when I made the character for my inspiration, and I couldn't figure out to do like the little dots like I've got on other characters for other things.
You have to change the mode to preparation.
Okay.
Add spell class and then name it special
I was able
effects
to
and
add a
put it
spell
as
class,
a.
but like I couldn't get like all those little dots and things. But okay,
Oh, you make it a spontaneous spellcaster,
Yeah.
and then you give it a name, and then you
Oh,
put
okay. I
the
had it as a
dots in it.
prepared spellcaster, so that's why I
Yeah.
didn't show them. Okay.
Yeah, if you make it spontaneous, it makes
That's
it a
the
lot.
trick. Is you make it a spontaneous, and then you put like you make like panache level 1, and the other one an inspiration level 2 or something, so they track separately, and then you just put in put the number for the spells, the castings. You know where it says
Okay.
the 1, 2, where it's in the level thing. So for me, I have a 3 in there, so that gives me 3 panache. So I have 3 boxes to check for my panache.
Okay.
And then
So I've done it with a bunch of characters who have weird abilities like that.
you'll need to add a proper spellcasting class for your investigator now.
Okay.
And you get trap finding from this one. I probably would have mentioned that to Damien when he was asking about disable device earlier.
Well, I did tell him I was taking it, so he said he wasn't going to. But yeah.
I know that, but he'd probably feel a little better about it if he knew you were going to be really good at it.
So I'm just going to note, Jacob, I would have to roll well, but it is actually possible for Athela to hit that guy.
I mean, you could have hit him, but he had 83 HP.
Yeah. I was just saying it's possible. It's actually possible for Athela to potentially parry him too. Maybe.
There's a reason there's 50 of those guys, because there's a bunch of people in that room with class levels.
Yeah, we are the small fish. We have very low class levels, but like if I recall correctly, Princess Eutropia is like 8th or 9th level when you add up her NPC classes plus her swashbuckler levels. You know, there's a fair number of pretty impressive people in there.
Yeah, she's 13.
Oh yeah,
And she's one of the
Princess
highest.
Eutropia is badass.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason. I mean, like I've said, Athela's definitely she is a big fan of the princess.
Princess
most-
Eutropia has one of the highest numbers, but she's also one of those people that split pretty fairly between NPC and player classes. So there are some people that have more player classes than her that are definitely deadlier.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
like,
I was
it's-
just. Sorry.
Like the High
What-
Strategos has almost all the possible Cavalier levels you could get.
I was just saying it's kind of neat. Like I'm playing that up because I think that based on what I've read, based on the lore I read about the princess and all that, I think Athela definitely sees her as sort of like a role model type thing. Like there's a little bit of the whole hero worshipy thing with that. So she's
Yeah.
actually pretty excited to get the opportunity to meet the princess, assuming she gets to, because she did influence that Lady Martella Gloriana.
So
And,
mechanically, that would have given you that free round I talked about.
yeah.
That's not going to matter. Potentially, the dialogue there will matter. But you're not going to be able to get a free social round because by the time you earned that, it was already impossible for people to talk to her for the rest of that chapter.
Yeah, I just meant like she does hope to get that introduction because she is actually quite eager to meet the princess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, I
Well,
forgot that Garrick's gonna have crazy saves early on.
Oh yeah, because he gets the multiple class thing.
Yeah, which I don't think it's calculating correctly, but
Oh, it is. You get the full amount from both classes at level.
well, yeah, but I
both
mean,
classes
it
level 1.
didn't actually put that.
Yeah, the investigator ones aren't in there. It looks like he has 3 reflex and 1 will, when he should have 2 reflex and 2 will from investigator, and then however many from swashbuckler. And then he should have 2
Swashbuckler should give
reflex
him
from
2
swashbuckler.
reflex.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it should be 4 reflex, 2 will.
Yes, it should.
Out of curiosity, what is Garrick's dex?
17.
Yeah, you're as good at reflex saves as I am, and you have much better will save. Multiclassing can be wonderful. I'm just saying, like, I have a character who was a wizard and a cleric and a mystic theurge, and she has absurd will saves. So I know how it can turn out really funny sometimes. It's just like multiclassing does some interesting things.
I almost never end up having good will saves on my characters just because the kind of characters I play. Normally I don't have penalties to will, but I normally just don't play classes that get big bonuses to it. And normally I don't have bonuses to will.
The good thing for Athela is that she does have that swashbuckler specific class feature of her archetype that does boost her will saves against the worst will effects. Mind affecting. Mind affecting are the ones that can lead to you killing your party. Therefore, I always view them as the worst ones.
Got a weird little note for you guys that they did with that Stavian agent you guys fought. They gave me his gear. Like, I could see all his gear. There was a sheet for his gear. The reason those are there, for the most part, is to give them to you guys. There was no fucking way you guys were ever going to kill him. So why did they give me his gear list?
Maybe on the off chance the party somehow did manage to kill him.
That would really fuck up the campaign if you did. Because chapter 2 starts when that guy hits one of you.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't, I'd have to be like, another guy comes up behind.
It'd be funny.
One of the 50 other guys shows up. One of the 49
Out
other
of
guys.
curiosity, does Garrick have a beard? Because in Taldor, if you're a male and you don't have a beard, then you are lower class.
No,
Yeah, he
bearded
does.
is a term. Not every Taldor noble actually has a beard. They're still called the bearded.
Oh, okay. I thought there actually was like
It's-
discrimination against the people who can't grow beards.
No,
Like,
it's
you just
common
can't
for
make a
them to
beard
grow beards, but not everyone does it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's common because the term bearded is for people of status, of the nobility.
Right, it's illegal for commoners to grow beards.
Yeah. But it's not enforced for noblemen to grow beards.
Oh, okay. I thought that the nobles like had to grow beards and
'Cause,
the
like,
commoners had to not.
Technically, like, Lady Lotheed is bearded, right? But she doesn't have a beard.
Bearded lady, here we go.
Yeah, so far Davluk's attempt to like find a suitor to get his parents off his back hasn't gone super well.
Well, you have interacted with females. There is a female party member you have interacted with. There are people you can attempt to become to find for suitors.
Did Davlik think it was going to happen the first night?
No, but he didn't expect like half the people he talked to end up lying in a pool of their own blood.
Yeah, that's fair. Then again, if you survive this, you might actually have a better chance of courting someone since there's less people.
And also, like, he made a friend and then just watched them get like publicly murdered.
We don't know for certain that he's actually dead. We know he was stabbed in the back But maybe he doesn't die?
and then collapsed onto the floor. He didn't get stabbed in the back, he got stabbed in the side. Remember, he got stabbed in the lower rib cage underneath it?
I've always okay. You can stab someone in the lower rib cage either from the back or the side, or actually you can do it from the front too. So it's sort of a range. I thought he was stabbed in the back in the lower rib cage area.
Remember,
That's
he had his hand on I didn't describe it in detail, but there's a train of logic. He had his hand on the man, right? Okay, well, if that's the case, pulls him closer with that hand, pulls a dagger out with the other one, the easiest action is going to be stab him in the front or the side.
okay.
And he did
That's
fall,
cool.
remember, he did fall onto the Senate floor after he breathed his last few words.
Okay. Well,
Also,
you
I'm
know,
pretty sure that the Grand Prince in like true Pathfinder tradition is much higher level than some poor commoner.
I mean, if his
Hey.
daughter's level 13, he probably is higher level.
Because
And
in
again-
Pathfinder, you can't be the king of the place unless you're at least level 10.
Oh, you can be.
Yeah, but almost all the printed NPC monarchs are at least like level 10.
I wonder if they actually have the
I wanna
stats
see
for him in
somebody-
here. I doubt they do.
I want to see somebody actually. Just as an incidental note, because we're talking about rulers, there is the living god, the level 19 wizard, who's convinced a whole nation he's a god.
I'm not going to say what his stats are, but I am surprised by the Grand Prince's stats.
I want to see somebody actually play like the archetypes of like the sorcerer archetype and the prestige class that are associated with the living god guy, just because I want to see somebody actually do it and play a worshiper of him, because that would be cool.
Yeah, the thing with the false priest archetype is that it's fucking broken.
All hail the living god.
Also, like, Razmir would get the immortality he seeks if he literally just gets one more level and takes the immortality discovery.
Here's the thing with him. I like to imagine that he's sitting there in his throne room, going, "Okay, one more adventuring party, one more adventuring party." Like, he needs one more adventuring party to show up and try to kill him, so he can beat them and gain the level to get to level 20.
Yeah, he needs to like summon a Baylor just to fight it or something.
Later, chat.